I think we are going to be going live here in just a second, and I'm waiting for confirmation. So if you're already here, then maybe you could do me a favor. In fact, I can see that we are live now because I've got another monitor over here. So hi, everyone. Good to be here. We're a few minutes away from getting this show on the road. Steve, can we do a sound test for you?
Yep, absolutely. Hey, everybody. Steve Clayton here. Hopefully you can see me, although I don't know if it actually switched over to me. But I'm not sure, Mark. If
there's like a 10-second delay. Yep.
No, I just mean because the yellow button. Well, I think actually it's because you're sharing your screen. That's what it is. So.
Well, I can see your face whenever you talk because I've got another monitor here, so it's definitely working.
All right, great.
All right, everyone. So yeah, about 5 minutes to go here to give you the weather update from Buenos Aires. It's 24 degrees. So what's that?
It's warm.
It's about 80, low 80s. It's quite pleasant today. Yeah. Have you got out of the cold snap yet, Steve?
We did. It's like I said, like I was saying before, we've had like a 60-degree swing in temperature. So it was -30 not too long ago, and now we're going to be like 40 degrees today. I mean, it's insane. That's Fahrenheit, but it's ridiculous. I mean, it's absolute insanity. All the snow, we had all this snow, and then in like 24 hours, it all melted. So obviously now we're just in the middle of a lake because it's really flooding out there. Yeah. In fact, I got to the bottom of my apartment building yesterday to take my dog out, and I noticed when getting on the elevator that the elevator floor was wet. I was like, well, that's weird. And got down to the first floor, or whatever it is in your country, the 0 floor. And I get down and I step off the elevator into like 2 inches of water.
God.
The whole lobby of the building was kind of like underwater. It was insane.
Oh man. Did you go straight back up to the 48th?
No, the dog was needing some relief outside, so that wasn't an option apparently. So yeah, I had to wade my way through the water to get her to go out. So. Yeah, she was not between -30 degrees and having to swim to go out to the bathroom. My dog's been looking at me like, "What are we doing here? Why are we not back in Key West? It doesn't make any sense."
Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah, she wants to go back there.
Well, she doesn't like the heat though, so she needs to live in like San Diego. Just like perfect temperature all year round. That's, I think, what would be her boat. Not too hot, not too cold. So what are we thinking? Is it working well?
I think it's working.
All right.
It's working. Yeah. We're still just a couple of minutes away from the top of the hour, so we will get it underway shortly. We've got quite a lot of new content here today. So if you've been on one of the other workshops that we've done this week, then you will get quite a bit of new content. And we've also got the chat question box enabled, and we've got people behind the scenes here helping us out. So if you do have a question about parallel profits or anything else, you can use that, and you should get a fairly quick reply depending on how many questions come in. So we have got that. And the chat, we really should use that for questions, not just for general comments, because otherwise that's what's designed for, is for the questions. Get your questions answered. And we will be getting underway a little in just a minute or two here.
I'm always nervous with these things with, the camera's going, the speakers are going. I never know who's listening. I don't know what's going on. It's like, I don't want to like reveal the nuclear launch codes or something. Gets me all Gets me all freaked out. It's crazy. Modern technology.
Yep.
Unfortunately, for those people who watch Modern Family, when we're doing stuff like this, when you have like multiple talking heads I feel like the old guy on Modern Family who can't master the video conference because he's only showing like a picture of his eyebrow, and he keeps going, hello, 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 is anybody there? I'm kind of getting to the point where I feel like that guy. So
yeah. All right, we're going to wait just about another 30 seconds here, and then we'll get this underway. Making sure everything is working here behind the scenes, and it looks to be. So that's good. So I've got 3 monitors around me, and if you saw the invite video that we sent about this, then you may have seen it, but I've got my laptop just here. I've got another monitor here, and then I've got this one with the main presentation on it here. So I'm kind of trying to know where to look at any given point in time, but it seems to be working.
I have one laptop and I'm having problems. Yeah.
I don't know how you do it on a laptop, man.
Well, I'm trying to limit my options of what I can look at, so I don't get confused.
That's true. Yeah. So maybe what we'll do is we can just I think we can start diving in here because we've got a lot of people on here already, and I think I need to turn my air conditioning on. It's pretty hot down here. There we go. So this is the rough schedule, guys, and we're just going to dive into this and get started now. So let me do a bit better welcome than that. I'll pause here for a second, and then we'll do a bit of a more enthusiastic welcome, and we'll get this show on the road. Hey everyone, welcome to Super Sunday. Good to have you with us. We're excited to be here, and we've got a ton of content. This is going to be a marathon session where we've got about 3 hours worth of content probably. And I want you to know right now that there is a question little box that you can use if you've got questions, a chat box that you can click on if you want to send in a question specifically about the program. We've got people behind the scenes answering it. We've got a lot of new content. So if you've been on any of our workshops over the past, over the past week, then you're going to be able to get some new content here today as well. And we're going to be doing a bunch of different things. You can see the rough schedule there. To start with, we're going to be doing a cash giveaway in a few minutes time here. And then we're going to get really into a lot of the content. We've got 3 cash giveaways throughout, maybe more. And we will be giving away around about to the tune of around about $10, what do we say, $10 a minute or something. So lots of cash to be won, lots of good information to be had. And I hope that you leave this today having taken away some really good, useful information that you'll be able to use in your business, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of whether you're in our Parallel Profits program or if you're running some other business. And we will be doing a full recap of Parallel Profits as well, showing you how you can get into that. If you need a link at any time to be able to jump into that because you want to purchase and we don't have one on the screen, you can always just let us know in the chat box and we'll pass that over to you. Now, we're also going to be going on and off video. So right now we're both here and I'll probably leave my video up for the next couple of minutes. And then when we're getting into the presenting, I'll turn that video off just so that you can, it's not there as a distraction on the screen. So anything I've missed, Steve, for the general housekeeping?
No, I think that's great. I think it's fantastic. How are we going to, do we want to explain to people how we're going to do the cash giveaways? We're going to be asking questions.
Well, I don't actually have a solution for that yet. So maybe we could do one of the questions. We could do a question each time, and we could get people to type in what the answer is. Maybe that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah. I think that's probably the only way we can do it. And what we'll do is we will just aggressively say when we get the first answer, and then we could say stop typing. That's probably about the only way we can do it. So there we go.
Yep. Awesome, fantastic. So this is a live stream, 100% live, and we don't really have a way that we can engage with you as easily as with a regular webinar, because we've got the chat system, which is set up somewhere completely different, and we're not seeing that sort of rolling in all the time. But our team are there, and when I'm not speaking, I'll be in there. When I'm speaking, Steve will be in there, so on and so forth. So that's where you'll get your questions answered anyway. So this is the rough schedule. We'll come back to this a few times, and let's just start diving in here. So later on in this workshop, we will have a sales funnel strategies for you, and these are things that anyone can use to turn leads into buyers. They work like clockwork, no matter what type of business you may be running. So whether you're coming into parallel profits or you've got some other business, I think the sales funnel strategies that we'll be sharing with you will be quite applicable. A software tool that we've used extensively to capture leads, and actually not just capture them, but convert them into sales. We're sharing that. And we've only shared that for the first time, I think it was yesterday. So that's pretty hot off the press. And I think you'll see why it's an approach that works really, really well, especially in the business model that we're doing. We've got some incredible case studies. We've got a couple of people who will be joining us live for interviews a little bit later. You'll get to meet one of our students who's done over $40,000 in January using the model that we're talking about. You'll get to meet the CEO of one of our companies and talk to him, and Steve will be giving him an interview. So lots of good content here. And you'll also see how you can use the strategies that we'll be sharing to tap into this business model that we've been talking about over the past week or so. As we've been, one of the common themes that we've been saying is that the reason this can be so lucrative is because you only need 65 sales to get to $1 million in profit. It's pretty phenomenal when you think about it like that. Now, I think it's useful for those of you. I know a lot of you here have been on workshops with us in the past, and you do know us a little bit. But just for the people that may not have, I think it's quite useful to know a little bit of our background. So that's obviously me on the left of the screen there, and that's my family, 2-year-old and my 2-month-old and my wife. And we live in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm from New Zealand originally, and I shifted out here in 2000. My first trip out here was in 2005. And then I sort of shifted out here for good around about 2006. And that was actually the reason that I wanted to get into online marketing. I wanted to figure out how I could make money online because I needed that geographic freedom. I met my wife actually doing a ski season in the United States. We were in California at Lake Tahoe. And I met her over there. And then I wanted to come to Argentina, but I was a poor student. Didn't have much money in the bank, couldn't speak Spanish, could only get a tourist visa. So, no company in their right mind was going to give me a job. And what I did was I started sitting down in coffee shops in Buenos Aires, and there are millions of them, so it was never an issue. And I had a laptop, and I started just investigating, what could I do? How could I make money online? And I went down pretty much every rabbit hole that you could imagine. And I looked at all kinds of things. I mean, I even fell into the trap of filling out surveys to try to make money. I did everything that you could imagine. And eventually, little by little, things started to click. And I'll tell you about the first way that I actually made money online a little bit later in this call, but it was to do with helping tango schools and tango restaurants and tango shows, which are a big deal down here in Buenos Aires. It was helping them with their web presence. That was part of it, and affiliate marketing as well. So, the thing that I always sort of was chasing at the beginning was if I could just make $100 a day, then I'd be able to live on that. I'd be able to survive on that. And once I got there, I realized that I could do it over and over again. So very quickly it sort of grew. And the thing that really motivates me now is the time freedom. The geographic freedom is still great. I live in Argentina, but my whole family and we go back to New Zealand a couple of times a year, normally for a month at a time. We travel, like the last few years, we've gone to the French Alps for an entire month and just stayed in a chalet there. And we normally go in the summer these days, but we used to go there in the winter. So the geographic freedom is great. The financial freedom is amazing, but the time freedom is really, really what motivates me the most, and the thing that I'm probably most appreciative about. But that's, enough about me. Steve, why don't you give your backstory for the folks that don't already know you?
Well, I don't know. I can't really compete with like a Nicholas Sparks Notebook love story, for crying out loud. So thanks for making me follow that. Yeah, mine's a little bit more boring. This is my second career. I'm a little bit older here. So on my full second career, my first one was in corporate America. And I spent just shy of 20 years in corporate. I started as a computer programmer, and I was a project manager, and I ultimately became a chief information officer for a company, which was one of my favorite jobs, probably just second to my job as a serial entrepreneur. Because it was very entrepreneurial. We took like a $40 million company, and we grew it all together as a management team to a couple $100 million. But then we, like frequently happens, we sold that $200 million company to a $5 billion company. So then I found myself as a vice president for a Fortune 500 company, which was about the furthest away you could get from entrepreneurial. Big companies, big corporate cultures, they really don't enjoy people who think independently or outside the box. But I stuck it out for 5 years. I was under contract for a few years of that, and then we just we kept sort of re-upping. And it was kind of that case of golden handcuffs. When you're a VP for a Fortune 500 company, you are treated quite well with regard to compensation. So I had a lot of financial freedom, but you're treated awfully, frankly, when it comes to time or geographic freedom. And I was miserable. I mean, it was probably the most unhappy 5 years of my life, honestly. And I just kind of went back to what my dream was. As it turns out, in high school, I was very entrepreneurial. I had my own business. I taught. It was this whole set of circumstances, but I actually ended up teaching computer languages and a few other things when I was in high school. So I had my own business in high school, and I kind of look back on all that. And I said, I've been a frustrated entrepreneur here for damn near 20 years. I'm going to stop this madness, and I'm going to, look to really pursue my dreams. And I decided to do that. I became a serial entrepreneur. And I haven't had a real job since, and I've got absolutely zero regrets.
So, we think I think it's important that you know who's actually talking to you here, and what our backgrounds are and what drive us and the things that we're passionate about. There's a few other photos. I told you geographic freedom was a big thing for me, and you can see my little world map there that we're always trying to add to. And I've been able to do that just because of having an online business. Like, never in my wildest dreams could I have traveled so much if I hadn't had this online business. I know it's the same for you, Steve. You're either always out in the Bahamas or safari in Africa or.
Yep, so true. Yeah. It's a big deal.
And, we're going to do a $500 cash giveaway. So have you thought of any good questions for that yet, Steve? Something we could throw in there? And this is, we're going to do a few of these throughout the call, and we want this to be entertaining but also educational. So Steve, how are we going to do it? You're going to ask a question, and we're going to ask people to use the little live chat to reply.
Yeah, I think that's the only way it can work. So bear with us, guys, because it's not really designed to do that because, as Aidan was talking about, we can't see the scroll. So we have people behind the scenes. So they will select the first correct answer. And I'm going to try and tell you as fast as possible that we have a correct answer, so people can stop typing into the chat so that we can, get back to answering questions. So, okay, how about this? What was the first information product that I developed? And it was more than 10 years ago at this point.
That's a good question. And I know what it was because it was one of the first info products that I ever bought, actually, and ultimately led to me meeting you guys and eventually partnering up. So I wonder
if you guys can tell me when we've got the first correct answer and then who it is, that'd be great. I'll see if I can find it myself as well. Let's see. Just bear with me here.
Oh well, I can see a lot of people have actually said it. So I don't know. It's just
we got the first one. Melissa says it's Andrew, and it's the answer is Commission Blueprint. So Andrew, we're going to capture your you're going to capture your email address. We have it here because you entered it. So everybody can stop typing in now, and that Andrew is our winner for the first one. And we'll get better at doing this. I promise. This is a little bit new for us.
Yeah. The platform's not exactly designed for that. But anyway, that's just to blow off the cobwebs there, and 500 cash going to Andrew. So thanks for playing along, guys. Commission Blueprint. That was over a decade ago, 2008. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
About 2008. It was one of the early courses that I bought anyway. And I remember I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and because I saw, was it 2008? Yeah, I was getting up early in the morning, and I was working on this before, carnage and hell would all break loose in the house. Yeah. It was awesome until my Google AdWords account got banned. It got slapped down. We were using Google AdWords to send traffic to different landing pages, but it gave me a real taste of how that Google AdWords side of things worked anyway. So, and I'm surprised how many people typed in. Obviously, a lot of people here, Steve, who have been around since 2008 at least. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we still get. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, when you're out. When you're with me and we are at events or whatever, it's almost every single time that we do something like that, people come up to me and say, hey, I mean, back in 10 years ago, Commission Blueprint changed my life. Obviously that particular business model, because of all the changes that Google went through, it's not applicable anymore, but it got people moving, in the right direction. And the business model itself is totally applicable. In fact, we revamped it many years later. It's just the traffic source that changed. But yeah, it had a huge impact on people's lives. And also what's interesting, at least for me, is it's where I got kind of the first taste of being able to help people like that. I didn't even really understand, how exciting that would be, or that would turn into ultimately my passion. It's funny how, life works and how opportunities come up, and then you expand, you pursue them, and it leads to other opportunities. And that's kind of been my life over the last almost 15 years. And, in this being a serial entrepreneur here, but discovering your passion is a pretty exciting thing to do.
Yeah. Well, guys, with that, I think we've given you a pretty in-depth backstory, and maybe we'll come back and share a few more stories later. But I really want us to get into some of the content here because I think that's what you're all here for. So I'm going to start off and just talk about the universal recipe for riches. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and I hope that what we're talking about in the next 10 or 15 minutes is going to be something that you can use throughout your life to have more success. And it's called the recipe for riches, but it's not just about, becoming a millionaire. It's about success in general, because normally when you get success, the money follows anyway. It's not a blueprint or a system, which might surprise you a little bit because, we've been talking about a blueprint and a system for the past week with Parallel Profits. But it is a set of rules, a set of ingredients that absolutely determine, whether or not you're going to be successful. And it comes down to 100% mindset. That's what it's about. So my credentials, for those of you that don't know me, I'm not a self-help guru. I'm not a best-selling author. But I am friends with at least 50 self-made multimillionaires. And, along with Steve, I've personally built 6 multi-million-dollar businesses, that earn me millions of dollars, each one of them every single year. And I've seen what works. So I've learned from hanging around with other people, and I've learned from my own personal experiences. And what I've tried to do here, what we've tried to do is really break down the common traits, the most common things that keep coming up that multimillionaires and super successful people tend to have. And we've broken them down into 13 areas, and we'll discuss them more over the coming slides here. So firstly, though, the thing that I want you to know is that anyone can become a millionaire. Your background doesn't matter. I don't come from, a super wealthy background. I just come from regular working class, middle class parents and family. And, becoming a millionaire is not some kind of a dark art or a cryptic code. It really is a set of ingredients that build on one another. And look, if when I'm talking about becoming a millionaire, you can just swap that out for becoming super successful, because these same principles are going to, apply to both cases. But there are a set of ingredients, and that's why we call it a recipe. There are a set of ingredients that you can use to stack the odds in your favor. So success leaves clues. This is 100% true, and most self-made millionaires have the same set of attributes, and they are the clues to mega success. So if we can identify what they are, then we can use them to stack the odds in our favor. And there are dozens of common characteristics that kind of distill down to these 13 different ingredients that we're going to talk about. So as we're going through here, I want you to think to yourself, how many of these, millionaire ingredients do you have, and where are you weak? Because if you can identify that, then you'll be able to improve on that, and you'll be able to improve the successes that you have in your business and your life in general. So consciously take notes and work on your weaknesses. Try to identify what they are. And the very first one, and this is just super, super key to any business and to making money, and that's to understand the math of money. And at the core of it all, there's this thing called the dollar equation. And the dollar equation determines how much money you make. And what it is, and this applies to any business, online, offline, and I'll give you a simple example in just a second here, but it's leads. These are the visitors that are coming into your business. There's the conversion rate. This is the number of people that actually purchase. There are the dollars per customer, how much the customer is spending. And then there are the average number of transactions, okay? And when you multiply those four factors together, it gives you an end value. Now, if you want to know the profit, then the dollars per customer should be the profit that you're making, okay? Not just the amount that's being spent. Otherwise, it'll give you the total revenue. So these are the four variables, and hopefully that makes sense. And let me give you one of the most simple examples that I can think of, a lemonade stand. Let's say that you've set up a lemonade stand on the corner, and your leads, these are the people that are walking right past the lemonade stand. So perhaps in one day, you're going to get 1,000 people walking past that lemonade stand. Your conversion rate are the number of people that actually stop to buy the lemonade. So let's say that you manage to convert, 5% of the passers-by to be people that buy. Okay, so that would be 50 out of the 1,000 people that come past. If 1,000 people go past, 50 of them will buy. That's a 5% conversion rate. And then how many dollars do you make per customer? $1, let's say. And the average number of transactions per customer, and for a lemonade stand, it's probably just one. You're probably not going to have that many repeat purchases. Okay, so if you multiply those things together, you would have 1,000 times 5% times $1 times one transaction, and it gives you $50. And that's what you would make in a day. And you can model this out to a year or a month or a week or whatever it is, but that's the equation in its simplest form. Now, a couple of key things to know is that if you double two of these factors, you actually quadruple your income. So let's say that you invest in some signage, and instead of you selling the lemonade, you put your cute 5-year-old daughter there to sell it for you, right? And by doing those two things, your conversion rate boosts to 10%. And now that you've got a cute face doing the selling and you've got some signage there, you're upping the price. So now you're going to be pocketing $2 profit per sale. So just by doubling two of those factors, we quadruple the end result. So you can see on the screen here, 1,000 multiplied by 10% times $2 times still only one transaction each. And you get $200 there, okay? Now, if you were to double, and this one here is actually wrong, but if you were to double all four of the factors, so instead of getting just 1,000 visitors, maybe you open up another lemonade stand around the corner and you've got 2,000 visitors coming past every day. You've still got 10% conversion rate. You've already doubled this. You've figured out how to double that. You're still making $2 profit per sale. And now you've figured out a way that you can get people to come back and get a second glass of lemonade later. What that does is it will actually increase your income by a factor of 16 compared to the original example. So in the first one, we showed how you get $50 a day. You would now be up to $800. That's an error there. It should say $800. So understanding the four parts of the formula will really help you identify what you can do to make money and really sort of like home in on that and know the things that you can influence to improve your bottom line. The second ingredient is to stretch your mind. So stretching your mind establishes a new benchmark. And it's why millionaires who lose it all tend to bounce back so quickly, because they're comfortable, with big dreams and they expect nothing less. So if you built an online business and got it to $100 per day and then you lost it for whatever reason, maybe Google shut you down, Facebook shuts you down, whatever, you would already have in your mind that you were capable of making $100 a day. And let's say, you were making $10,000 a day and the same thing happened. You would know that there's a way that you could be making $10,000 a day, because that's now a reality in your mind. And one thing that's for absolute certain is that the first million is the hardest. And once you've done, and just like the first dollar is the hardest, getting to the first million is the hardest. Once you've done it, you can do it, and you're going to be able to do it over and over again. And, once you've done it once, it's in your comfort zone at this point. This book that you can see on there is a book that I think is really well written on this topic. And it's from an entrepreneur who is actually a New Zealand entrepreneur. He's got a chain of jewelry shops, and it's a really good book, and it's just about thinking bigger and expanding the way you think. And I've used a lot of what he's shared in there with my own life. So my own investments, I invest a lot in property, and I used to just have the goal of just having like one house, and then I really, amplified that goal, and now, I'm on track to having 100 properties. So I would never have thought that was possible until I had stretched my mind. And then a stretched mind is a bit like a muscle. It will maintain its size. It might shrink a little bit, but it will easily go back to where you had it. So that's the second ingredient. The third is to be growth orientated. And guys, just to reiterate here, we do have a chat box. You're welcome to use that if you've got questions. That's really for questions. So if you've got any questions about what we're talking about here, about parallel profits, and I'll be getting into that in a second, you can use that. And I'll go back and I'll recap the rough itinerary for you in a second. And this is just for everyone new that's just been joining us here. So the third ingredient is to be growth orientated. All of the millionaires that I know intuitively think in terms of growth. It's just kind of hardwired into their subconscious at this point. And there are three key parts to being growth orientated. One is getting uncomfortable. So going outside of your comfort zone on a regular basis. The second is constant learning and self-improvement. And then the third is having confidence and optimism. I see this as a trait that pops up, a characteristic that pops up over and over and over again. And for some people, it comes easier than others to have that optimism, but it's a really important point of a part of being growth orientated. Ingredient number 4 is to get help, and everyone needs help. And there are two types of help you can get. One is expertise, and the other is time. So you can't be an expert at everything, and you shouldn't try to be. It never really works out if you try to be a jack of all trades if you want to grow and scale your business. And same with time. I mean, if you're working, by yourself, you limit yourself to 24 hours a day, and you need to sleep, you need to eat. Even if you could grind out 20 hours per day, it wouldn't be sustainable, and you really wouldn't be able to get that much done. So in our business, we've got a team of, 50, 60, might even be more than that, people now across a whole range of different, across like 5 different continents, I think. And so that means we've got people that are working for us 24/7 all the time. And I can't remember, it might be on the next slide, but these people do thousands of hours per week. Whereas we would never be able to get to that if we were on our own. And this is why millionaires focus on building teams and delegating to the point where they're getting hundreds or thousands of hours work done in a day. And if you can figure out a way that you can get that expertise and kind of tap into a system that gives you the time because you're having other people doing things for you, then that's awesome. In fact, Parallel Profits does exactly that, and we'll talk about how it does that a little bit later. But getting help is another one of the key ingredients on the recipe to riches. So yeah, there it is. Workforce of 50 people in our business. I think it's more like above 60 now, but 50 people gives us 400 hours of work per day. So just imagine what you can achieve in that. You get into this positive upward cycle with the amount of work that you can get done and results that you can achieve. So need to get help is why we focus so much on delegating and letting go as much as we can. Another way that millionaires do this is by systematizing their processes, streamlining operations, And that's also something that we've built into Parallel Profits, and we'll talk about that shortly. Do you think it's any coincidence either why a lot of millionaires have business partners? Because that gives another type of help, which is sometimes quite hard to outsource. But the point is, having a partner can be a big deal as well. And as we talk here in a little bit, you'll find out how you can be a genuine partner with Steve and I in the new business that we are going to be talking about in a few minutes' time. Ingredient number 5 is a success circle. So you may have heard the saying that you become the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with. And positivity breeds positivity, just as negativity breeds negativity. So what I would, a tip I'd give you here is just choose who you hang out with carefully. Join a mastermind if you don't have people to hang out with, or join a program that gives some kind of a community that you can participate in, because this is another way of doing it. Ingredient number 6 is to be the millionaire. And what I mean by this is, when you think like a millionaire, you start to behave like a millionaire. And when you behave like a millionaire, you begin to do the things that a millionaire does. And when you do the things that a millionaire does, you start to get the results that a millionaire gets. And again, not necessarily just a millionaire, but a successful business owner. Okay, so if you think like a successful business owner, behave like a successful business owner, and then you'll start to do the things that they do. And it's a little bit like the old saying, dress for the job that you want, not the one that you have. So if you're not sure about how to approach a certain situation when you're doing something new, something that I ask myself sometimes is, what would such and such do in this situation? What would, whoever a mentor of yours is, do in this situation? And then try to use that to guide you in how you should be, because being becomes, the things you do, and the things that you do becomes the thing that you get ultimately. Ingredient number 7 is solution orientated. So millionaires know that solutions are valuable. And if you think in terms of solutions rather than problems, you'll find that you get ahead a lot more. And if you can, but in saying that, if you can identify solutions to a group of people that you can serve, then, you'll be in business all day long. And that's one of the things that we love about the Parallel Profits model that we'll talk about in a while here, is that the problems or the people that need help are abundant. So, and if you can provide a solution, which we'll show you how to do, then a lot of the heavy lifting and hard work and that other people would have in finding making a sale is just not there in this. So it makes things so much easier. So find a common problem that businesses have or people have, come up with a good solution, and you may have tapped into a gold mine. Protect your time. Time is valuable, non-renewable asset. Money goes down, money goes up, but your time is only ever ticking down. And a couple of tips there, just, focus on one thing at a time, do it really, really well. And if you are going to do a business, make sure you're doing the best business. Efficiency, in the operations and the way that you're running your business. And this is why also, if you can tap into pre-established teams and infrastructure, it's going to make your life so much easier. Ingredient number 9, this is one that I'm quite passionate about, is being action orientated. So, the mega successful and almost all millionaires I know, they want things done yesterday, and waiting around for something drives me insane. And I know this is also true for most millionaires. I want things done yesterday. And I always try to avoid the when-then trap. And you may have heard me talking about this over the past few days if you've been on any of our other workshops. But people sometimes say, well, when I'm in a better situation, I'm going to start investing. When I'm healthy, I'm going to start, or when I'm feeling better, I'm going to start eating healthy. But this is just a vicious cycle, because you're never going to be in a position where it's the perfect time to do everything, right? So the way that you get ahead is accepting that there's probably never a perfect time to do something, and just doing it anyway, because doing something is better than doing nothing. And that's really where the magic happens, when you actually do something instead of waiting around. Another huge issue that we've seen, and for those of you that have just joined us, we've helped thousands and maybe even tens of thousands of people over the years at this point in time, and had hundreds and hundreds of one-on-one students through that time as well. And one of the big issues that some people have, they have a lack of action, and they spend too much time planning, which planning can only get you so far. At some point, the rubber has to hit the road, and you just have to move forward. And that's why it's so important that you're action orientated. Millionaires don't over plan. You know, they spend more time doing and far, far less time actually planning. Think in terms of abundance. Now, this is a big one. All the millionaires that I know think in terms of abundance, not in scarcity or frugality. There's plenty of money to go around. There's plenty of business to be had. You know, I'm never afraid of competition. I try to embrace it. And if you're thinking frugally, that's a handbrake, because you can never reach the point of being truly wealthy by, you know, saving your pennies in the bank. It's just, you just can't do it. You may be able to continue to live, you know, and survive, but you'll never get to the point of being truly wealthy by doing that. The way that you get truly wealthy is by making more money, not by saving every last penny. And look, this is something that, you know, hasn't come naturally to me. This is something that I've had to work on. I mentioned at the start that I come from a middle class, you know, working class family, and I had to sort of adopt a lot of these, you know, ways of being and ways of thinking. And I continually, you know, try to work on these things. But this is a big one. So if you want to get ahead, and especially with your finances, you have to think in terms of abundance. Don't think that you're going to get ahead by, you know, saving every last penny that you've got. You might need to invest some money to make a lot more money. Ingredient number 11 is vision. Having vision is knowing what you want and being able to imagine it, to think about something consciously and then subconsciously. Eventually, you want to get this vision kind of hardwired into who you are. And until you know what you want, it's impossible to acquire it other than by dumb luck. So, you know, I remember, Steve, you told a story, and I don't know if you're able to chime in here, but you told a story when we were out on your yacht last time that you were in, I think you were in the marina in the Bahamas or something, and you saw a yacht that you liked, and you said, oh, you know, love to have one of those someday.
Yeah. We were, so we were in Key West, and, you know, I'd had a boat, I mean, a good sized boat, a 52-foot boat. And I had captained it myself for 10 years, and took my family, you know, all around on it. But, you know, I was kind of getting to the point where it was hard for me. You know, I had other interests, and it sort of started to become a job, you know, kind of taking care of the boat and running the boat and maintaining proficiency to be able to, you know, dock it appropriately and all that kind of stuff. So we were in Key West, and I saw that this big yacht pulled in, and I really loved it. It was exactly what I love, like a real traditional, you know, beautiful design and metal hull boat. I really loved it. So I went up and started talking to people, and I found out it was actually just the crew. The owners weren't on board. I was like, wow, okay, so what's that all about? Like, you guys just take the boat to where the owners want to go, and, you know, and so anyway, long story short, spent a lot of time with these guys, you know, and reverse engineered their whole business model. Basically understood exactly, you know, kind of what the expenses were, how the owners used the boat, how they, you know, how many weeks they chartered the boat. And within about 24 hours, I had a whole spreadsheet built and business model, essentially a mini business plan to acquire a large yacht and run it. And then it took me, I think it took me 2 years after that, just because, you know, boats are, you got to sell a boat, you got to buy a boat, you got to put all this stuff in place. I mean, it's, you know, and by the way, I'm busy doing other things, but it took me 2 years, and I've now got, you know, a 90-foot yacht with a crew of 4, and it runs, you know, between the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean and New England in the summer if I wanted to. And we charter to bring in some money, and it's a whole business that runs on itself. So it's yet another business I've added to my portfolio, but it also allows me obviously to go on it whenever I like. So yeah, there you go.
And it's really important that you identify the things that you want to have someday, because they'll drive you. I remember before I had my first property, and I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to buy a property, but I would sometimes go and, you know, I would look at properties that were for sale. I remember when I first got to Buenos Aires in 2005, maybe I had $2,000 to my name. I'd just come through university, and I was a very poor student. And nonetheless, I would go and have a look in some of the new high-rise apartment buildings here in Argentina. And I was always thinking, you know, I would love to be able to own one of these someday. And, you know, now we've got a huge penthouse apartment in one of the nicest, you know, buildings here in Buenos Aires. But I think the point is that when you can go in and sort of and really see what you could have, it starts triggering something in your mind. It's like if you want to get a car that you've always dreamed of, then if you actually sit in it and take it for a test drive and touch it, it makes it so much more real. And then you can imagine yourself doing it somehow. Anyway, so that's a little bit.
Hey, just real quickly, Aiden, if I could make a suggestion to everybody, I strongly advise you to follow Aiden's path of, owning like 20 amazing pieces of real estate all around the world, including several in Manhattan, as opposed to my idea, which is to be an expert in depreciating assets. So,
like Ferraris and
Ferraris and yachts, so yachts, and airplanes. Let's not forget airplanes.
Well, yours is pretty entertaining, that's for sure. So, and if you need to get a business partner, you should get a business partner that's got a yacht and an airplane and Ferraris and all this. That's a little bit of my advice for you. So, so there you go. Ingredient number 12 is to send off good vibes, and this one, might sound a little bit woo-woo, but if you really think about it, underneath all of the the hoopla that goes around about this kind of thing, there is some stuff that makes common sense. Because if you have a positive mindset and you think regularly about what you want, then you begin to see more opportunities present themselves that someone with a negative mindset would have, because you're open to seeing them in the first place. So if you're open to seeing different ideas and opportunities, they're more likely to present themselves in your life. I'm not a believer that you manifest something to the universe and all of a sudden you're going to have a pile of cash sitting on your door. I don't think that really works. But if you're constantly thinking about business and how you can do things, then you're going to see opportunities that other people that are not thinking about that would ever see. Enjoy the journey. Grinding away day after day, it's just not sustainable. Find something that you can enjoy that gives you the lifestyle that you want. So there are things you can do out there and earn a lot of money, but they'll grind you to a pulp. Whereas the business that we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes' time is something that you can run with just a few hours per week without needing to do the heavy lifting yourself, and it can afford you the lifestyle that you want to have. And we're going to talk to one of our students in a while here who did over $40,000 in just in January, with I think he's got like a 75% profit margin. So that's decent. That's decent money for sure. So try to find something that you can enjoy. And when you find something that gives you time freedom, financial freedom, and geographic freedom, you'll probably start enjoying it. But if you don't have all of those three things, then there's a chance that maybe you won't enjoy it. And Steve shared his story just about being, in the corporate handcuffs and golden handcuffs, and you're getting paid well, but you've got financial freedom, you don't have time freedom, and you don't necessarily have geographic freedom. So it's not just about the money. You have to have a real balance between these things, and that will help you enjoy the journey. And then number 14 there, I don't know why it says number 12, but that's gifted lunacy. So some millionaires out there are just genius lunatics, and they break all the rules. They don't have any of the ingredients. Actually, they still have quite a lot of these ingredients, but they're just wired differently, and we can't replicate what they do. So there's no point in even trying. And these are the people, like Elon Musk, for example. The guy, he's just gifted. He's wired differently. There's no doubt about that. So hopefully you found this first part useful. Later on, we have got a link where you'll be able to download the Recipe for Riches book, okay? And that's got a lot more in-depth information, because obviously we're quite limited with time here. One last thing, these ingredients that we've been talking about, they build on one another. It's not like baking a cake where you just need 100 grams of sugar and 50 grams of butter or something like that. Kind of like the more of these ingredients that you can put in for your mindset, the better off you'll do. So we're going to dive into this now. I'm going to just stop my video a little bit here so you don't get distracted by it, and I'll come back on in just in a few minutes' time. But look, what we want to talk about now is parallel profits a little bit, and give you a closer look at case studies, give you a closer look at some unseen software, conversion strategies, sales funnels, and how you can tap into a globally proven business model which has the potential to generate 7 figures profit each year from as little as 65 sales. Now, as we go through here, I want you to keep the Recipe for Riches presentation that we gave you just now in the back of your mind, and just see how many of what we're talking about are actually, how many of those ingredients are built into this model. And I think you'll see that most of them are. And what makes this system different is that we do it every single day. The parallel profits model that I'm going to be talking about with you here, we do it every single day. It's been one of our core businesses for many, many years now. Yet 99% of people ignore the business model, even though it's got, it's the most consistent, predictable way that you can make money online. And oh, by the way, it has some of the highest margins that you could get in any business that I know of. You don't need to worry about competition. There's no traffic issues. There's no coding. There's no investment or any of the other common roadblocks. The common roadblocks are the reason why people make, so some people make $50,000 per month and others make zero. But now that we've removed them, making money becomes much faster and much easier. And here's why. You can copy what already works and keep it simple. So you finish a process demonstrated to you you follow a process which is demonstrated from start to finish with simple steps that are easy to replicate and with any complex tasks or hurdles completely eliminated. So you have clear action steps. And the best way to encourage someone to keep going is to give them clear action steps. And this is what you're going to get. We break down a process into manageable step-by-step plans to help you see the finish line and get excited about reaching it. And you have high-value short-term goals that can be achieved in days or weeks, not months or years. So realistic, achievable goals, exceptionally valuable goals that have the potential to be life-changing. And we find that short-term financial goals encourage people to keep moving forward. And here's another reason why we're excited. We've got something quite unique to show you, which combines these solutions to create a business opportunity that delivers near inevitable results, even if you've got zero experience. And this is because you don't need to buy or create or buy any physical products or invest in inventory. There are no barriers to entry or complicated technical hurdles to overcome. You simply follow the process to create an incredible revenue stream. And you build a business which you can sell for a high multiple of your profits later on, okay? And you also get partnership. Now, this is the twist, one of the twists that we're going to be telling you about later in this stream. You get the benefit of having a partnership. So in the past, we've taught great business models, and some people have done very, very well with them, but others have fallen at various hurdles along the way. So we decided to do something that people have been asking us to do for years, and that was to combine the perfect business model with a partnership, and that gives you the greatest chance of success. So what we're talking about here, it may seem very simplistic at first, but I want to make sure you listen to it quite carefully because you'll see that it's just amazingly powerful. Now, what we're doing is providing simple web solutions and services to small businesses, but with a very unique twist, and we'll elaborate on that shortly. So, but first, why is this opportunity so vast? It's vast because you only need 7 customers to get to $100,000 in profit. And in about 90 seconds time, we're going to show you the 3-step process that we use. But you might be wondering, what type of services are we talking about? They're services that are simple, but critical to small businesses. So therefore, they are highly valuable. They're services that aim to, they're services that help these small businesses achieve more search engine visibility, more social media exposure, along with better looking and more reliable web presence. And they're services that result in 3 things for the customer: more web traffic, more customers, and more revenue. So it becomes a win-win situation. And the kind of business that buys these services from us are things like the local pizza parlor, the hair salon, the builder, the limousine company, the pool cleaner, the laundry, dry cleaner, the landscape designer, the plumber, the local, the winery, and so on and so forth. It's just regular companies, and we'll share some more examples of these as we progress here. The bottom line is that this is a business model that gives you simple, it's very, very simple, I should say. It's stable and secure, and it can be very lucrative. And you can see on the screen there, $88,000 in a PayPal account of one of our students, $15,379. That's come in from one customer, and that number keeps going up all the time. That represents one sale. this has been our bread and butter business for over a decade. Steve got started in 2003 doing this. And some of our students are doing over $500,000 per year using this business model now. So it's very, very powerful. And the customers, they want to pay, because customers and revenue, are the most important things to any small or local business. So people are happy to pay if you can deliver this. And that's exactly what we do for them. And the local business owner, he doesn't normally have the knowledge or the inclination to do it himself. These are people that are working in the daily grind of their businesses, keeping their businesses afloat. They don't have the time or the energy or the know-how to do any of this stuff. They can't hire someone full-time, so they use services like what we offer to do it for them, and they can get good bang for buck with that. So we're providing true value here. It gets real-world results. It's a win-win scenario, and the potential is huge. Here's what our business looks like scaled down to just 7 sales, $116,000 in profit, and to make $116,000 in profit, from an Amazon business, you would have to have revenue of, way over $500,000, just because of how the profit margins work. So I think that's another key thing that you should look at when you are analyzing different businesses, is how much real take-home profit are you going to get, and how easy is it going to be to achieve? We can make $116,000 with 7 sales, whereas to make that same amount of money on Amazon, we'd probably have to sell, something 29,000 times. And with 15 sales, things start looking pretty attractive, $242,000. And to get to that number, selling physical products on Amazon, to get to that profit, you'd probably have to sell $1.2 million worth of products. And you can see a check there, $4,050, that came in just a few days ago. You can see the date on it. Now, let's not lose track of the aim, though. The aim is to hit a $100,000 profit run rate from just 7 customers, and then keep scaling from there, $100,000 to $300,000 and beyond. And a $1 million business is within your grasp with this, because 65 sales gets you there. But 65 sales of a physical product that might give you a $10 profit margin on Amazon, that's going to make you $650. 65 sales of an affiliate product, which might give you $100 commission, that's going to make $6,500. The business model that we're talking about, the earnings that it can give you, are in a whole other stratosphere to anything that you would have seen before. Now, 3 very important points. You don't have to meet with anyone or call anyone up. You can use automated, hands-off online campaigns to generate your sales. You don't need any internet marketing knowledge, because true experts will be delivering these services on your behalf. We'll explain more about this shortly. And you don't need any money to start either. As long as you've got an internet connection and a computer, that's all you need. So before we go any further, I just want to give you a quick look at where we are at right now. So we've told you a bit about our background. We've given away $500 cash, and we're going to be giving some more away pretty soon. We've spoken about the universal recipe for riches and the 14 ingredients of the millionaire mind. And we've started to explain the monetization model that we're using for parallel profits. So, which is to sell really, really simple services that people need. Okay. And if you've just joined us, we do have a question box that you can click on if you want to ask any questions at all about this. So use that. It's not really a chat box, but if you've got a specific question about this or anything else, you can type it in there. And our team behind the scenes are busy punching away at the keyboard answering. So, and we are not quite on schedule, but we're just about 10 minutes behind schedule. So I think we're doing pretty well there. So what I want to talk about now is the automated 3-step funnels that we use, because they are really, really important. Okay. So how do you get these first 7 customers? We use 3 simple steps. Okay. This is super, super simple. We start with targeting, we start with generating targeted leads, and we do this using high-value lead magnets. And I'll give you an example of one of these shortly. We then turn those leads into customers using automated systems, and I'll explain how that works. And then we deliver simple services, which, as you know, which as you'll find out, I should say, you won't actually need to do any of the work yourself. So step 1 is to generate targeted leads. And first, you need traffic, okay? We use free traffic methods that target people who have the best chance of converting into customers. So these are organic, fast and easy methods. And we're not chasing highly competitive search terms here. We're going after what are known as long tail, low volume search terms. These are the ones that work best. No one else is targeting them. And in this business model, long tail keywords are the most lucrative. So we can get the traffic. We tap into the traffic. By the way, we don't need that much traffic because we only need to make 7 sales. So we don't need that much traffic, but we tap into the traffic using these fast, free, organic traffic sources. But it's not just about getting the traffic. That's only the first part of the puzzle. You have to convert that traffic. So how do we do that? How do we convert a lead into a sale? Actually, not even a lead into a sale. How do we just capture their email address to begin with? Because that's an important part here. And we do that with what we call lead magnets. Now, a lead magnet is a piece of content, and a lead, for those of you that are unfamiliar, is an email address in this instance. It's someone's email address. So a lead magnet is a piece of content that people get in return for their email address. And a lead magnet should solve a problem in the most convenient and quickest way possible. It needs to be simple and easy to consume, and it has to add relevant value. If it doesn't kind of meet this criteria, it's not going to work all that well. So the goal is not to get as many leads as possibly can. It's to get the right people who are most likely to turn into customers. So our lead magnet is actually generated using proprietary software. And this is software that we only revealed for the first time, I think, yesterday. So not many people know about it, but this software has been a game changer for us, at least what it creates. So what this does is it allows our end user to get a free audit of their online presence. So let's say a business owner who owns a hotel, right, a local hotel. He's looking for some help. We identify him and he comes to us. And there's a special way that we do this. He finds us, he finds this audit tool, and he engages with it. And then he gets something of high value back. So it engages the prospect, gets them to take action, use our, and then ultimately use our services to fix their website, their web presence, or whatever it needs fixing. So this is the first time we've shown this to anyone. This is the kind of report that it generates. And there are more pages here, but the key takeaway is that it's a very visually optimized report. It's easy for anyone to understand. It's not like you have to have a diploma in web marketing or anything to understand it. It's all written in layman terms so anyone could understand it. And it highlights key problems. So at this point, the lead can see that they've got some serious issues because Facebook's not optimized, because their website takes 10 seconds to load, because they don't have any rankings, whatever it might be. But the problem points are highlighted to the end user. And the way that we do this is this is all done through an amazing piece of software that I was talking about. These are customized reports that are built using this super special piece of software that we use. And this is amazing because it allows you to follow through the whole funnel of the prospect. So you can see how many people have created accounts and created a report, how many you've actually closed, you've sold, how many you didn't manage to sell to, and so on and so forth, how much follow-up is needed. So it's a little bit like a project management tool, although it's all automated. Okay, so that's what sort of like the back end looks like. So step 2 is to convert those leads into customers. So the first step, just to reiterate, is to identify a traffic source and find a way to capture that traffic source. And we do that by getting the email. And that's something that you can do completely remotely. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be, walking through the jungle in Thailand, and people are coming into the top of your funnel. The second step is to convert these leads that you get into customers. And the majority of people need to see a service multiple times before they take action. They need to see whatever they're going to buy multiple times before they take action. And it's the same in any business. So the best way of making sure they do is not only by capturing the email address, but also sending them follow-up messages. So following up with them. And this needs to be automated. Otherwise, it's not going to be scalable and you're not going to be able to optimize it. So what we do is we send leads highly effective conversion content to secure them as customers. And we do this via an automated email sequence, which again, is customized to the businesses that you're targeting. And it's zero work because it's all completely automated. But these follow-up emails have to be written and delivered in a very specific way. Otherwise, they're not going to work. And not many people are very good at writing sales copy or promotional emails. And if you've ever hired a copywriter, you'll know how expensive it can be. So, I mean, this is something that's crafting these messages. It's difficult, it's expensive, and it's time consuming. But the good news is that you won't need to do any of this. We have a solution which you'll also be able to use. And this solution is point and click, done for you. And best of all, it's automated. So, whether you are, like I said, trekking through the jungle in Thailand or skiing in Switzerland, you can have these emails, these follow-up messages, which are strategically crafted and customized for each business being sent out for you. And this thing here will convert your leads into sales. Okay, so at this point, you've tapped into a traffic source. You've captured people's email addresses. You've started emailing them relevant content and ultimately converting them to sales. So you've made a sale. Now you need to deliver the simple services. The key word here is simple. 4 services will give you the best results. These are the 4 services that we normally provide. And you can do others as well, but take my word for it. These are the ones that are going to provide you with the best the best value, the best bang for your buck. And they are visibility campaigns, they are website development, they are hosting, and social media content creation. Now, the beauty of these is that they will give you, and they will generate 80, 90% of your income. But not only that, they're the most profitable of anything you could offer. They have the least headaches, but they also, and this is really important, they also they also give the best bang for the buck for the end user, okay? So they're the 4 simple services, and don't worry, you won't need to build any software. You won't need to know anything about what we are doing here. And as you'll discover in just a moment, this can all be taken care of for you. So the 3 simple steps, just to recap: to generate targeted leads, to turn those leads into customers, and then to deliver simple services. And again, to reiterate, the aim here is to get you to $100,000 profit, and how you can do it with just 7 customers, and then keep scaling from $100,000 to $300,000 and beyond. Now, remember at the beginning, we went through the math of money. What I want you to know here is that you can tap into an enormous number of leads. Those leads are going to pay you a high dollar value, and they're going to keep paying that month after month after month. So it's recurring, okay? And your conversion rates are through the roof, as we'll talk about soon. So a couple of case studies, and we are going to do an interview a little bit later, so stick around for that with one of our students who's doing over $40,000 a month. But $15,379 from a boat lifting company, just doing search engine optimization and hosting. This has come from just one sale. $25,900 from a roofing company, just through selling search engine optimization services, website design, and hosting. And again, it doesn't matter if you know or don't know about these things, because you're not the one that's doing the search engine optimization. You're not the one that's doing the web design. You don't even have to really take part in that, because you're going to get all of the different procedures that we use in our business. So it makes it very point and click, easy to deliver. So remember, you do not need to do the work. Other people who are experts will do all of that for you. And even if you got other people doing all this for you, you'll still be able to net upwards of 70% net profit margin. And this can work for anyone. You can see here, in 2018, I made $187,497. My business is growing rapidly. And this is Chad. He's got a 64% profit margin. This is Claudio. You're going to hear from him in a wee while. He did over $29,000. I think he hit over $40,000 in the end in January, and he's on track to do close to $500,000 this year. $118,000 in 12 months. This is from RP in Ireland, and he, the thing that he says is that it gives him peace of mind that he's in control. It's not like Facebook, Amazon, or Google can sort of turn off his business at any point in time. $120 per hour, $40,000 this month. That's from Chris up in Canada. He's another one of our students who is cashing in quite handsomely with this. So you might be asking, is there actual demand for this? Don't most small businesses already have websites and online presence? No, they don't. In fact, the stats are crazy. 45% of small businesses in the USA don't have a website. And you can fact check this, Even if it were 35%, it's still insane. Okay. Over 2 million small businesses in the UK don't have a website. And GoDaddy's survey said that 60% of small companies in the UK don't have a website. I mean, it's in huge demand. And 62% of people will ignore small businesses that don't have a website. In fact, it's not that they'll just ignore them. They won't even be able to find them in the first place. And this is why local businesses are screaming out for help. They all need traffic. They all need an online presence. And this is why virtually no selling is required, because the customer will come to you. And because business owners are so desperate for your help, our conversion rates are sky high. So unlike selling a physical product where you might have 1%, 2%, or 3% conversion rate, we get upwards of 10%, 10, 15, 20%. So if you reach out to probably 6, 7, 8 different, if you have not even reach out, but if you have 8 or 10 different, leads come in the top of your funnel, you'll probably get one sale from them. And then it will recur month after month after month. So hopefully you can see just how powerful this is here. And guys, remember, we do have a chat box, which you're able to use. And if you've got questions about any of this, you can type it in. We are going to get to explaining what parallel profits is all about in just a second here. Before we do, though, a few more checks and income screenshots. So you can see this one here, Lifestyle Homes. That's a building company. Nature Recreation. That's a recreation park. We showed you an example of the boat lifts, the roofing company. These are all just regular, boring businesses, but they need help. And they find us through our strategic funnels, and we give them that help, and they pay us. They pay us very well for doing so. So let's talk a little bit about the twist here. And Steve, this might be a good time for you to jump in and talk for a little bit.
Sure. Well, let's see if I can make this work. Let's see. All right. Thoughts? Is it working?
Looks good to me. And we do have like a 10-second delay, so I can see that. Yeah, it's just it looks good, Steve.
Okay, great. You never know with all this. I just want to chime in here on the demand for this service before I get to the shocking twist here for a second. Doing this for so long, I think the best story that I can relate that sort of shows the incredible demand here is, whenever I go to a dinner party or any kind of gathering, in the minute, at least in the United States, the talk often turns to, what do you do for a living? And the minute I start talking about, helping small businesses and providing services like this, you get absolutely swarmed. It's literally like moths to a flame. Anybody who's a small business owner, anybody who knows small business owners, spouses of small business owners, they just come running and screaming because they're like, oh my God, I need so much help. I don't know what I'm doing. My website is all messed up. My brother-in-law says he can fix it. He's a knucklehead. What should I be doing? Facebook? Why don't I show up when people type in, pizza places near me? And my favorite is always, should I be tweeting? And, all that kind of stuff. So, and I do always share to them that at least my one piece of advice is if your last name is not Kardashian, you don't need to be tweeting. Okay. It's just probably not going to help the local pizza guy to be tweeting. He's not going to sell some more pizza. So anyway, it really is just an amazing amount of demand for these services. And this population of customers, these small business owners are incredibly underserved and frustrated. And frankly, that's really good for people who are marketing services to them. So we've talked a lot about the business model, and I think that, we're trying to make the case here that it is absolutely the most perfect business model. There's no, it's not a coincidence that it's the first thing. It's certainly the first thing that I ever did. It's the first dollar I ever made. The first dollar I ever made was from a small business owner in Raleigh, North Carolina, a hair salon. And so there's no coincidence that it's the first thing that I ever did and that I still did. And all of the online serial entrepreneurs that we know, it's the first thing that they started doing, and it's something that they keep doing to this day as well. So we think it's absolutely the perfect business model to get people involved in, to have a big impact on their lives and get them to be able to build their own business. But over time, Aiden talked a lot about, just certain people are successful, others struggle more. And, we're always looking for, well, what else can we do? What changes can we make? What new things can we be looking at in order to help more people, just have a bigger impact on a bigger amount of people? And that's kind of how we came to, the twist here. And it's something, it's a big deal for me because it's something that no one has ever done. I guarantee you that you have never been on a webinar talking about online business opportunities where someone has offered you this kind of an opportunity. And I'm feeling, a tremendous amount of responsibility to make sure that I convey to you exactly how big of a deal it is. And one way that I might be able to do that is to take a look at this slide here. And on the in the middle here, I'm sure you all know that that's a very, very young Steve Jobs. But next to Steve Jobs, you probably don't know who that guy is. And he was the number 3 guy at Apple. You had Steve Jobs, and then this guy was like one of the first investors in Apple. And obviously he had ground floor access to something ridiculous. I mean, Apple, $1 trillion company, at any moment in time could be the most valuable company in the world, most valuable company ever. I mean, it's by any metric, right? Obviously ground floor access to that, his investment, no matter how big, is worth, untold amounts at this point. So we're talking about something that serious, okay? And don't type anything in the chat box right now because we can't see the scrolling chat here, unlike a webinar. So it's okay. I'll believe you. I just wanted to make sure that I do a good job. And you can tell that this is really serious for me because that's me on the right there with the really gray hair, and I have my glasses on. So that's my serious look, right? So it's just that I want to make sure that I do a good enough job of explaining this twist for you to understand that you've got this opportunity to get on the ground floor of something like being next to Steve Jobs and investing money in him when he was first starting out, or investing in Netflix or McDonald's, or pick your favorite successful company, okay? It's really that big of a deal. So this is one little twist, little part of it. It's the beginning of the two twists we really have. When you make a sale and you need to deliver the services that Aiden was talking about, our team of experts are going to be the ones that are doing the work for you, okay? But I want to, again, make sure that I'm doing my job here. You'll see very shortly, this is not outsourcing, okay? This is something that's completely different than outsourcing. And we're also able to not only are we able to deliver the services, but we're also able to have everything all set up for you. Everything's prepackaged, ready to go. The websites, the sales magnets that Aiden was talking about, everything. I mean, you don't even need to buy a domain name. You're going to focus on making, getting your 7 sales, getting 100,000 a year, scaling to whatever you want. And it's really critical that it be like this, right? But yeah, obviously we have to have a way to, a way where that makes sense, which we found, right? Which I'll talk about in a second. But it's really critical that it gets this way because you want to make sure that your technical ability doesn't have anything to do with your success. Okay, that's a real important barrier that we have to get around. And just a quick example. I mean, these are perishable. These technical abilities are perishable skills. I was a computer programmer, as I said to you guys, many years ago, too many years ago, and was very successful at it. But I could never get a job doing it today because I don't even know what anybody's doing today as far as different programming languages and the way they do things and even how the computers work anymore. So you need to make sure that you take your technical ability out of the loop. And the other thing that we cannot do is we can't have you be an entrepreneur that just basically sets yourself up for a job. You can't put yourself in a position where you're trading hours for dollars, which you would be if you're the one doing the work, because then you can never scale, okay? So hopefully you agree. I mean, look, this is the absolute perfect business model. It ticks every single box, right? I mean, the profit margins are ridiculously high. You only have to worry about a small group of customers. It's rapid and ongoing results. There's low competition. It's easy to sell the business later on. It's a respectable business that you can talk about. Although I've stopped talking about it, unless you want to be the doctor at the dinner party where everybody wants to show you their rash, you want to avoid giving free consulting sessions. So, but anyway, it's a respectable business that you can explain and you can talk about. I mean, and you know what the big obstacles are that kind of grind you to a halt on your entrepreneurial journey. And you talked about a lot of them, and you can see how this business model just kicks their ass. I mean, it is absolutely the perfect business model with regard to demand and, getting rid of the technical knowledge and the heavy lifting, the trading hours for dollars, and it's all gone, right? So it ticks every single box. And so when we sat down and we said, we're going to train this business model and we're going to use this to have an impact on people's lives, we took a step back and we thought, well, things are good. That's great. But then we started thinking about it and we said, we've been doing this for 10 years. We're ridiculously proud of the impact that we've had on everybody's lives. But we know there are some that we couldn't get across the finish line, and we needed to figure out a way to do that. What could we do to have an even bigger impact on a bigger, number of people and let them have their business, their slice of the pie. And so we had two choices at that point. We could do what we always have done, which is create an absolutely kick-ass training program. We've done this for 10 years, every year. And I think we're the absolute best in the business. We have the best support people, the best coaches, the best resources, tools, everything. We can make you an expert in this business model so that you can take it and implement it and become successful. We are experts at that. Okay. So we could do that, and it's been good for us and we're proud of it. But we had another option this time, just because of the nature of this business model, which you'll probably understand once I talk to you about what we chose to do. We had another option. The downside for us is that it requires a lot more money on our part, energy, time, focus, and risk. The reason it requires a lot more risk is because we have to explain this to you in enough detail so that you understand it, but we have a pretty short period of time to do that. And it's something you've never seen before. So it's a challenge. So there's a bunch of downsides for us, okay? But the incredible upside is that the structure of this allows us to, make success practically unavoidable. And you'll see why I make that claim in just a second. So we chose the harder path this time. We chose to take that risk, to invest that time, energy, focus, money, everything. And hopefully we can convey just how much we've done. And that's why I am crazy proud to introduce Parallel Profits to you guys. It is, of course, the normal thing that we do perfectly, industry standard, creating step-by-step training, all the training resources, coaching tools, help, everything to make you an expert so that you could be successful in this business model. But it's more. It's more. It's a partnership. And, people throw around that term all the time, and it means it's kind of ambiguous, and it means a bunch of different things to a bunch of people. But we knocked the ambiguity right out of it. Because what we are talking about here is allowing you to become a franchise owner, a real, legal, formal, no kidding, big boy stuff franchise owner. Why is that a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because of what it means, because it's very difficult to franchise a business from a legal, regulatory, transparency perspective. It is not trivial, okay? But the reason it's great for you, and the reason it's great for us who care about having an impact on you, is right here. The success rates for franchise businesses are greater than 90%. It's staggering. More than 9 out of every 10 people who buy into a franchise and start it are successful. It is the lowest failure rate of any type of business. Okay. It's almost the reverse for non-franchise. Depending on which numbers you look at online, about 80 to 85% of non-franchise businesses fail. And yet more than 90% of franchise businesses are successful. Now, if you care about having a big impact on people and making the most amount of people that you can successful, that's kind of right in my wheelhouse, right? So what do we mean by franchise? A franchise, the way that you do a franchise is you take an existing, specific, actual, real live business, okay, and you wrap it all up with a bow and you give it to all the franchise owners as their new business. Essentially, it's practically like creating a clone of the model business, the first business, okay? So you can sort of start to see why, okay, now I understand why almost, more than 9 out of 10 are successful, because if you could take something that's already successful and you clone it, well, I guess that's, that has a much higher chance of when you have to just roll your own, invent your own, right? McDonald's is a great example. So if you want to own your own business, and by the way, when I say clone the business, it's a wonderful compromise and a win-win, because it is your business. Okay. You're not an arm of the parent company. You're not a branch office. You're not an employee. It is your own business. You've just taken a successful one, cloned it, and made it into your business. So a great example of a franchise, one that's been around and super successful, are the McDonald's franchises. And so if you wanted to buy into a franchise, if you wanted to start a business and you decided, hey, 9 out of 10 successful, that sounds good to me, I'm going to buy a franchise. You go to McDonald's and you give them $1 million to buy the franchise. Okay. And you have a territory discussion with them and you guys decide, yeah, this is the place we're going to have it. And then they send you to Hamburger University. It's a real place, and it's actually right around the corner from me here in Chicago. And it's like an information product, like we do. It teaches you to become an expert in that business model of running a McDonald's. It's all training. Okay. But then they give you all the other stuff to clone their business. So you get all the burgers, the French fries, the chicken nuggets, the napkins, the coffee stirrers, the garbage cans, the software, the point of sale systems, the little hats, a visit from Ronald, the whole bit, right? And then you start buying, you have a relationship with McDonald's corporate, and you start buying the hamburgers from them for 50 cents and you sell them for $3. You pocket the profit. That's your business. Okay. And they handle a lot of corporate marketing and, brand building and all that kind of stuff. So the way it typically works with a franchise company is it starts out with a single business, single location, a single place. And it oftentimes has the name of that business has nothing to do with the ultimate national or international brand that's created. So for example, the McDonald's company, the Golden Arches and international brand, started out as the McDonald's Brothers hamburger stand, a single location in 1940. And, the systems were perfected, the product and profit were optimized, everything was, they built a good business, right? And then 13 years later, they decided this is how we're going to grow our business. They had a conversation. We have a couple different ways we could do it. This is the way we're going to do it. So then they decided we're going to franchise. Okay, well then let's build a global franchise brand. And it's brand new. There were no McDonald's yet, right? So we're going to build the Golden Arches. We're going to just call it just McDonald's. In 1953, the first McDonald's franchise opens, followed by many more. And in 1958, they sell their millionth burger, and they must be on their, I have no idea how many burgers they've sold now, right? So, but they started with a whole different name. They perfected everything. And then they built this global brand. And that's exactly where we find ourselves. Okay. I started this business in 2003. And then what often happens with Aiden and myself is that we start businesses because we're serial entrepreneurs and we're really good at startups. We're really good at initial scaling, setting things up, getting them moving, getting them to the tipping point. And then they become, real no kidding businesses that require, ongoing operations and so on. And so in 2008, we decided we were kind of pulled in too many different directions. We turned this into a full-time operation, separate company with its own CEO. And we are an advisory role and strategy and, obviously owners as well. And then for the last 10 years, running that business, bread and butter, just all the time, optimizing systems, products, learning, building teams, maximizing profits. So essentially that is the McDonald's Brothers hamburger stand. And now here in 2019, we have built an international brand, global franchise brand, and we are ready to sell our first McDonald's. And you have the unique opportunity in front of you to be one of those McDonald's franchise owners, right? In this case, one of our franchise owners. So there's a lot to take in here, okay? And that's why this is risky for us, because, it's complicated and we don't have that much time with you to explain it all to you, But essentially how it works is we are going to send you to our version of Hamburger University first with Parallel Profits. We're going to fast track you to expert status. You will be an expert in this business model. In parallel with that, because we don't want to wait, we want to get to the point where you can start making sales ASAP. In parallel with that, you will become a real formal legal franchise owner. And all of what that means, which I've tried to explain, literally hand you everything you need to build your own version of the business. Okay, all the napkins, the software, the point of sale systems, the garbage can, the works, right? So you're talking about having absolutely everything completely set up, prepackaged, ready to go on a silver platter. You're gonna select the territory. Aiden has a whole conversation about that a little bit. And then we'll get you set up with automated selling systems and you'll be ready to go, and we take care of the delivery of the services. We've got a great team. It's completely hands off. You need zero expertise. All of the wonderful things that we talked about with this business model, right? Apply, but then add on top, the whipped cream and cherry on top are all the wonderful things about a franchise business. Not the least of which is more than 9 out of every 10 people who enter into a franchise opportunity are successful. Okay. So, what services are we talking? What are the hamburgers that you're going to be selling? Well, they are broken up into really 2 categories: one-time services and recurring. And you'll find that most of the time, the one-time services actually turn into recurring. Okay, so the one-time services often revolve around websites. So, lots of people don't have one, or they don't like it, or it's not responsive, so it's not showing up in the search engine rankings, or, so you got designs from scratch, redesigns, rehabs, images, logo designs, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. And then it quickly, most of the time, turns into, recurring revenue services. Offering a really nice hosting package, offering a hosting package that includes potentially security monitoring, performance monitoring, uptime monitoring, and then obviously doing something about those things. Really, really popular option is, look, these people need a web guy. It's great to have a website done for you once, get the hosting all set up, but next month they might have a picture they want to add. They've got, a special they want to run. They've got an article they want to post. They've got whatever it is. They need a guy or a gal, but they need somebody on retainer. They don't want to do it. They're not going to learn HTML. They didn't want to mess around with WordPress. They don't, imagine sign in as the admin, add a page, make it public. Come on, they're busy making pizza. So a very popular option is to have an ongoing retainer for just being their guy so that they can call you. And, they get X number of hours per month of maintenance. And then just general website, plugins, SSL. You know how it is when you've got a website. Some of you know how it is. And then the more advanced services, and some of which are not on here, but visibility campaigns, search engine optimization. All right, I'm not showing up when people type in pizza places near me. Why? What am I supposed to do? And it's amazing how these it's not you're not really selling them. You're most of the time educating them, which is a much more comfortable place for most of us. Most people don't like to sell, quote unquote, right? But if you have a small business owner that you're talking to, and they are just so confused by why is it that my competition shows up and I don't? And you can tell them how Google works, which is very straightforward. I mean, I always start with, you know what Google was called way back when they started developing it 25, 30 years ago? It was called Backrub. And why was it Backrub? Because the whole thing was built on backlinks. What are backlinks? They're popularity votes. So at the end of the day, your competition has more popularity votes than you do. Oh, okay, I can understand that. Well, why? And can I get some votes? Exactly. That's what search engine optimization does for you. We'd like to get you some popularity votes. Get enough popularity votes, you'll start showing up too. Okay. So what do we do as a franchise owner? Because it's like, well, so much is done for you, and you can sort of ask yourself, well, what does a McDonald's owner do, right? They kind of do whatever they want. They basically are able to, it's their company, so they can structure their job in any way that they like, and mostly around the things that they like to do. And oh, by the way, the dirty little secret is the things that you like to do are probably the things you're good at. So they're probably best for the company anyway. So some McDonald's owners might do everything. Some McDonald's owners may never go into the store. Some may hire regional managers, managers of the store, whatever it is. Some of them might just want to do community outreach. You can kind of do the same thing. I mean, the general role of what the franchise owner does is it all surrounding, customer sales and marketing, customer service, customer retention, all with, and basically being the liaison, right, between locally delivered services and the corporate franchise company. Okay. Lots of support. And, the other thing that people are always worried about is, getting customers. And, we've been doing this for a long time. And so when we said we're going to franchise this business, we said, okay, we need to focus on funnels, meaning processes and tools and basically checklists and procedures. We need to focus on funnels that get customers without a big time personal interaction, without having people roam around the streets of Main Street with business cards in their pocket, knocking on business doors. We're not going to have you do that. Without having you cold calling people, we're not going to have you do that, right? We're not going to do that. So we need lots of strategies where there's no personal interaction required, and it's remote strategies. You can do it from the beach, and it's automated as much as we can. So Aiden gave the great example of the digital outreach funnel, where you create this report of amazing value, and you're basically it's a very soft sell. Look, hey, this can help you out, and obviously there's some issues here. If you'd like us to help, we can do that. Direct mail, another great, listen, direct mail is making a huge comeback. One of our other companies, we just did a big direct mail campaign, and it's because nobody gets mail anymore. There's everybody switched to email. Nobody does any kind of direct mail for the most part anymore. Nobody actually gets any mail because everything's electronic. And now everybody's got email fatigue, and people are like, oh my God, I got real mail. I'm going to open that, So believe it or not, marketing doesn't really change that much, guys. You can look at a newspaper classified ads from 100 years ago, and it has a long form sales letter in it. Marketing doesn't change. So how are you going to deliver these services? We said this, look, we've got teams that are going to do this for you. We've got a franchise owner portal where you can interface with our teams completely and easily. And we've got teams all over the world. We've got the dedicated corporate staff. You're going to meet our CEO soon. We've got a dedicated corporate staff for QA and ops. It couldn't be easier. Okay. Now, look, this is something that's really, really important. So I want you to please pay attention. When a typical company like McDonald's goes to franchise their business, they assign a value to the franchise. Okay. And you're expected to pay that before you even begin to get any training or do anything. Okay. And heck, you might not even once you're trained and being an expert, you might not even like it, for crying out loud, but too bad. For McDonald's, you pay your $1 million and you're done. You can't get it back. Okay. Even if you hate Hamburger University. So we have to value our franchise at something. And we think 6 months from now, this value will probably be 10 times that. But for now, we're saying, look, our franchise value is $7,500. Okay. But you've got a very, very unique opportunity because investing in parallel profits, which is equivalent to Hamburger University, is much, much less than that. And the good part is that what comes with that is a zero investment to actually own the franchise. Zero. Okay. So there's an investment to get involved in Parallel Profits, the Hamburger University, to train you. But that comes with essentially your right to become a franchise owner with zero further investment. That is enormous. This is why I'm trying so hard to do a good job to make sure that I position this so that you understand what kind of an opportunity you have in front of you. Think about that Steve Jobs photo. Please, please, please. This is your own business. You can do anything you want with it. Okay. You can partner with people later on. You can sell it. You can borrow against it. You can leave it to your kids. It is your asset. That is the beauty of franchise. It's the best of all worlds. You get your own business, but you get the copy of a successful one. Nothing else like it. And that's why, greater than 9 out of 10 of these franchises are successful, because you can eliminate all the guesswork, just completely get rid of the heavy lifting. It's amazing.
So, guys, hopefully this is making sense. And Steve, I'll just get you to confirm that you can actually see my screen and see me again now.
I can.
Yep, fantastic. Okay, cool. So, guys, I've got the on my phone here, I've got the rough schedule in front of me just so I can recap where we're at. We've given away $500 cash. We're going to give some more away pretty soon. We've been through the recipe for riches, all about mindset, and we can recap on some of those things in a wee while here. We've spoken about the monetization model, these simple services that we sell to and how we make money, and the automated funnels that we set up to do those. And what I'm going to do right now is give you a recap of all of the components of Parallel Profits, because I think that's pretty important. And as we've said all along, you can ask us questions by using the live chat option, and we've got our team behind the scenes who are answering those questions. So as we progress here, if you've got any questions about Parallel Profits, please just put them in there and we can help you out. And just some other things that we've got coming up. So we've got another $500 cash giveaway pretty soon. We've got an interview with a student that did, I think, over $40,000 in January using this method. We're going to give you a sneak peek inside Parallel Profits as well. We'll take all of your questions in a special question block. We're going to introduce you to the CEO of the company, give you a full recap of everything, and then we'll get into some different stuff. We're going to be talking about the ASD system, which we haven't spoken about so far, and a bunch of other surprises as we move forward here. So I'm going to push on right now, and I'm going to talk you through the business. But first, before I do that, I just want to recap on what this can actually do for you. You've seen how much money that you can make from this and how lucrative it can be. So hopefully it's clear that it can eliminate money problems. You've seen, and when you are eliminating these money problems and doing so in such a way where it's not you that's actually having to get in there and do the heavy lifting, then that gives you free time. And then, it can, how much money do you need for something like retirement? This is something that can give you a secure retirement. In fact, it's something that you could even do retired if you want to. You can be your own boss, work from home. Something that I think of quite often now that I've got kids is, what can I do to give my kids the opportunity in the future? And this is definitely something that they could step into. The bottom line, though, is that you get the financial freedom, the geographic freedom, and the time freedom to live life on your terms. So what I want to do right now is walk through the main components of the Parallel Profits system, and then I'll show you how you can get in. So the first is the master blueprint. This is the core start to finish training. And what we're doing here is we're giving you an A to Z guide, taking you from complete newbie to business owner who is absolutely crushing it. And we're going to get you there in record time. So we've distilled down everything that we've learned over the past 15 years or so of running this business ourselves, and we've packaged it all up and basically put it in a business in a box, if you like. We even cover things like how to get hyper organized with your time, with your finances, with your workflow. We've got covert sales training built into there as well. So that's just the first component. And quite honestly, I think, as you'll see, this is worth the price of admission alone. At least I hope it is. Component number 2 is the lead accelerator. Leads are just a critical part of all of this, and acquiring them needs to be done in a strategic way. So we show you how we do it. But in addition to that, in addition to just showing you how we do it, we will also do some of it for you, and we'll be giving you batches of targeted leads that you can put in the top of your funnel. Now, remember, the way that we generate these leads, one of the main funnels we use is they actually come to you. So we show you how to do all of that. We give you our proven email funnels, whole Rolodex of different tools and other bells and whistles as well. And the engagement engine, this is something that I really love because this is where the automation really kicks in. I mean, the funnel leads coming in, that can certainly be automated, and we've got different funnels, but that can certainly be automated. But the engagement engine is 100% automated because that's where you're going to be sending out these emails to your leads, to your prospects, and the engagement engine is going to be working its magic to convert them. And what's built into the engagement engine is, sequences of emails that we've tested and split tested for over a decade now. So we've got it well and truly dialed in, and it just does so much of the heavy lifting for you. So like I used the example before, I mean, you could literally be in the jungle in Thailand and, your business is running on autopilot. So the engagement engine is really cool and an important part of this. And then there's the instant asset machine. Now, this is how you'll get your professional portfolio of marketing assets, like your website, your brochures, business cards, and anything else that you may need. And we'll do all of this for you. So we'll provide you with everything you need here, including your very own fully functional landing page on like the HQ website, okay? And like I say, we'll do all of this side of things for you. So it's a huge, huge shortcut. Next is the delivery hub. And this is, again, just one of the magic bullets of this whole thing, because when you sell a service, you get paid and then someone has to deliver it. And you can completely remove yourself from the delivery of the services because our team will do it all for you. And the way the delivery hub is set up, everything is streamlined. So customer buys something, comes into the system, you press one button and it's streamlined and it goes over to our expert team who will actually fulfill all of that for you. You'll get automatic progress updates, and the entire billing system is built into this as well. So, you may have been asking yourself, well, how are people going to pay me? It's all integrated. It's all built into the delivery hub. So you don't need to worry about setting up a PayPal account, payment gateway, Stripe, or anything like that. The value here is tremendous. And then we've got a private community. And this is something that we love doing because we love the interaction. So we're going to be in this private community with you every single day. And it's also going to be a place that you can connect up with, your fellow members, share tips and strategies. And it's another avenue to get support. And then number 7, this one is just amazingly valuable. We've got specialist support in place. So it starts off with email-based support, which is 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But we go one step further than that, because let's fast forward 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. When your business is up and running, maybe you're doing $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month at that stage. We want you to keep growing that business. And the reason we want you to is because we are incented by the same things that you're incented by. So if you're absolutely crushing it, then that's going to pay off for us as well. So instead of just having email support, we've got other layers of support as well. Like maybe you and I will jump on a phone call, or one of our coaches will jump on a phone call with you, and we'll just talk through, what you're up to in your business and give you some tips about how you can further grow your business. So the support is unlike anything that we've ever done before. And again, the reason that we can do that is because we are all chasing the same objectives and we're on the same team. So full recap here, you're getting the franchise opportunity, which is, every one of these components has been put in here for a reason. We needed a way that we could partner with you to chase the same goal. So the franchise opportunity was a good way to do that. The master blueprint, the lead accelerator, the engagement engine, the instant asset machine, the delivery hub, the community, and the support. And if you add up these components, you can see what they would come to there. And each one of these components has been built from the ground up to achieve a specific thing. And that's to get you making money and running your business in the fastest time possible, making things just as easy as we possibly can for you. But let's not lose track of the aim here. The aim is to hit $100,000 in profit with just 7 sales, and then keep scaling that up to $300,000 and beyond. And a $1 million business is within your grasp, because you can get there with 65 sales. And I don't know any other business, I've never come across another business where you can get to $1 million in profit with 65 sales using something that you can actually scale, which is what we've got here. It's certainly not achievable with any other online business that I can think of anyway. So hopefully you can see the benefits here. You can see that you'll be selling a high quality product or service that has huge demand. Almost every local business is desperate for this kind of thing. You've got a clear path to your customers. In fact, your customers are going to be, hunting you down because of the way that we're going to be building your funnels. And the business model has longevity. I mean, as long as the internet is around, and the internet's going to keep evolving and changing. 10 years ago, Facebook didn't exist, but now it does. So, it's going to keep evolving and changing, but businesses are always going to need to tap into services like this, because not every business can afford to have a full-time online marketing team. So it's normal and it's logical that they would still need to get this help. And one example I've been giving people over the past few days is we've got a limousine company that's been paying us for 8 years, every single month, month after month after month after month for 8 years. That's just one sale, but it's recurring. So that's enormously, beneficial for your bottom line of your business. So some important information. Steve's spoken about the franchise opportunity, but not every single company is able to have franchises in. So some people listening to this right now won't be able to be franchisees. Now, don't panic, because you can still do it, but we can only offer the franchise opportunity initially in the USA, the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And the reason for that is the legal implications and all the legal hoops that we have to jump through to be able to do it. We've spent over 6 figures just getting set up with the legal structure in these 5 countries. And we will undoubtedly expand to others in the future. But if you're not in one of these 5 countries right now, you can still join us. You'll just be operating under your own brand. So you'll still be able to use all of the tools that I've spoken about, the delivery hub, the engagement engine, everything. You'll just be using your own brand and your own website. So look, you've still got all of the upsides here, okay? And look, if we have enough people come in from, let's say, France, then we'll open up a franchise company in France and we'll expand there. And if you're in the United States, for example, and you'd rather not be a franchisee, you'd rather not be a partner, you'd rather do it with your own brand, then you can do that as well. That's absolutely fine. But I think, most people in those countries probably will want to take this opportunity because it doesn't come around all that often. So the next thing you might be asking is, where is your territory? Now, key thing that I want you to understand here is your territory is centered around your zip code or your postal code where you live. It's easier to begin marketing with some kind of a local connection. Not that you actually have to be in that place all the time or anything, but that's the easiest way to get started, is if you have some kind of a local presence in some way. And it's the fastest and easiest way that you'll get to $100,000 profit per year. And then, in the future, you may be able to expand into different territories and so on and so forth. But to begin with, your territory will be based around the zip code where you live. And it's not just one zip code. If you live in a rural area, it may encompass multiple zip codes. Or if you're in an extremely high business density area, then you might just have a fraction of a zip code. Because it's dependent on business density, because that's ultimately what your prospect pool, your potential sales are going to come from the businesses. So you might be thinking, look, where I live, I can't do this because I live in a small town or a rural area. And that's just not the case. You can absolutely do this because, again, your territory is not your zip code. It's not going to put you in an advantage. Maybe if you live in a rural area, maybe that means that your territory is going to expand to include a town or a city which is 50 or 100 miles away, and that's absolutely fine. And at the other end of the spectrum, you might say, look, where I live, I can't do this because I live in a big city. Competition's going to be too tough. And that's just not true either. We've never had any issues doing this in, mega densely populated cities like, Manhattan, London, Chicago, Miami. It just hasn't been an issue. And part of the reason for that is because of the unique way that we're setting up our funnels. So businesses come to us and they pay us a premium. So we're not even getting into a cat fight with any other or a dog fight or whatever you want to call it with any other local agencies at all. Now, some perspective, this was the first thing that Steve did when he got started online. So we've been doing this for about 15 years now. And if you do the math on that, you'll realize it's over 30,000 hours of experience. We've invested over $1 million into building this business to where it is today, over $1 million in the different marketing campaigns that you're going to get access to, and over $100,000 in legal fees. We've built up a whole team to support this, which costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. And some more perspective, you could set up You could invest in a McDonald's franchise, pay $1 million for that, or $110,000 for a Subway franchise, and you'd be making in the vicinity of $66,000 to $50,000 profit per year, respectively, for these. But I hope you can see that there's far bigger upside in what we're doing, mainly because the profit margins are just astronomical. We're not selling like $1 hamburgers. We're selling, $1,000 services that recur over and over and over again. And this is the most heavily vetted business that we have ever shared with anyone. I mean, we've have to disclose so many different documents. Everything is scrutinized, put under the microscope. And this is good news for you, because it means that everything that we're saying here has to be true and legitimate, right? So a franchise is not like a training program that I can just wake up one morning and launch to the public. There's months and even years that go into planning this kind of a thing. And this is extremely limited in a couple of different ways. Now, firstly, if your territory is snapped up by someone else, then that means you've missed out. Just like you never see two McDonald's on the same corner. It's the same with this. We can only support so many franchisees. Our infrastructure is limited. Remember that we've got this delivery hub system built up and the team in place to do all the work. Well, that limits how many franchisees we can actually take on. And then our personal time is being invested here, supporting you as well. And obviously that's limited. And we will shut down when we hit capacity, just like we always do. We haven't reopened any of the programs that we've launched over the last 6 years. We only do this once a year. When we hit capacity, we shut down and we just focus on working with the students. And we've already started the training. So if you jump in today, you'll go into the members area and you'll see that we've had the first training a couple of days ago, and we've got the next training in a couple of days' time. And we will shut down, as soon as we hit capacity. So we are limited here. What's the required investment? $110,000. That's what you could spend to buy a Subway franchise. And you'd be lucky probably to hit $50,000 a year if you were to invest in that. And you probably would have bought yourself a job making sandwiches. So I think hopefully you'll see that, when this business is a little bit more mature, what we're doing here, it could easily have a real world value of $110,000. But we can do even better, $12,000. You see, for the past 5 years, we've offered access to this kind of a partnership opportunity and unique insider information to a mastermind group that we've built up, which people pay $12,000 to be a part of. And we've partnered with a number of people in that, many people in that group, and helped them build 6- and 7-figure businesses. So I think, therefore, it makes sense that we could make parallel profits available for $12,000 as well, and that wouldn't be unreasonable. And if all this does is get you to the point where we got just 4 customers, now that would potentially give you $4,800 per month of recurring income, month after month after month after month. So hopefully you can see that that would probably be a good investment. But we recognize and we realize that this is not accessible to everyone, and we wanted to do something that was for a couple of reasons. One, because we want to help. We love the whole teaching thing, but also we stand to benefit as well by having more franchisees and more successful partners, because we're chasing the same goals, and when you succeed, we also succeed. So we've set this up today for $2,497, and we've got a 3-part payment plan which you can use as well. You can see the link on the screen there. It's parallelprofits.com/start. That's the link that you need to go to. So to go there, and by the way, you can keep listening to this and go ahead and do that if you want to do it. You just head over to the web, type in that URL, parallelprofits.com/start, and it's going to take you to a special page where you can sign up. And on that page, you'll see a box that looks like this. Okay. In fact, I might see if I can head over there in a minute. I'll do that soon. I don't want to mess things up here. But in this box, you'll see that it says, do you want to partner with us? Now, if you're in one of these 5 countries, the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand, and if you want to be a franchisee, then select yes in that box. If you are in any other country and you want to join this, just select no in that box. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be able to partner with us. It just means that you can bypass the zip code validation check that everyone else will go through. So if you are in one of those 5 countries, though, you select the country, put your zip code in, and you press the green button, reserve my territory, and it's going to come back and tell you if your territory is available. And if you get a green check mark there, that means that it's available. If you get an error message, it means that maybe you made a mistake typing in your zip code. Or if you get a message saying that your zip code is taken, then that means you've missed out, and there won't be anything that we'll be able to do to help you, unfortunately. Now, so that's where you can go to get started. And if you have any issues during your checkout, you can let us know in the chat box, and we're manning that. So we can help you out there if you've got any issues. We do have a 100% money back guarantee as well. You've got 60 days to test this thing out. So we want you to be able to jump into this with complete peace of mind. You've got nothing, there's no risk here. There's nothing you need to worry about. Everything here is, backed up by this guarantee. So it gives you enough time to come in and test everything out before you have to make your final decision. And if you change your mind 59 minutes from now, 59 days from now, it's absolutely fine. You just send us an email and we'll refund the money. No hard feelings, no questions asked. And what we really want you to do is to make a fully informed decision. So it's a little bit like buying a house. Until you go inside the house, it's hard to really see what it all looks like and make a decision about buying that house. And it's similar here. We could be on, and we've been on here for almost 2 hours already. We could be on here for 5 hours and you'd still have unanswered questions, because it's inevitable, right? The only way that you can get all of your questions answered is by actually going on the inside and figuring out, having a look on the inside and seeing if everything that we've said here is valuable to you. And if it is, then you keep it. And if it's not, if you figure out that it's not for you, then that's fine. Like I say, 59 minutes from now, 59 days from now, you've got 60 days to test this thing out. If you're not 100% satisfied, just contact us. We'll give you your money back. No hard feelings, no questions asked. We're looking to work with people that want to be a part of this, people that are serious about building a business with us, okay? And I would just urge you, though, don't wait any longer to sign up, because territories are filling up fast. We've had multiple people, in fact, dozens of people over the past few days who have been sending in emails to our support team saying, look, my territory is gone, and there's nothing we can do about that, We've opened this to the public a few days ago, and we're getting very close to capacity. We've had quite a good number of people jump in already, so spaces are filling up very, very fast. And the registration period's ending soon. We've already had one training workshop. The next one is scheduled just in a few days' time here. And if you wait until tomorrow, then this could already be gone, unfortunately. So you need to jump in right now. And this is something we do once a year. Now, when we shut down last year, I still remember, it happens every single year. We have people who miss the deadline, and then they email us and they try to get in. But you can't at that stage. Once it's shut down, it shuts down for a reason. And we start the training, and we're working with the people who are on the inside. And then people get upset because they're not part of it. And well, that's just the way it is. We try to tell everyone in advance that they don't have much time. They have to jump in. And if this is something that sounds like it might be for you, then you should jump in. It's really easy. Just go to that link that you can see on here, parallelprofits.com/start. You can pay with your credit card, PayPal, however you want to pay. It's a secure payment gateway with ClickBank. So you're completely protected through the payment process, and you'll get instant access to the members area. You'll get an email from us. I'll give you a sneak peek inside the members area in a little while here. Yeah, that's where you can go to jump in. Now, some exclusive bonuses. The first is, and we do have some live stream only bonuses for people that are on this live stream. So I'll get to those in just a second. But first, we have got some other exclusive bonuses that everyone will get. And these things here, we put a lot of thought into these because we wanted to add more value to what we were giving you. And one of the things we thought we could do was to have a series of secret mastermind sessions where we put one certain aspect of a couple of our different businesses under the microscope and really analyze it. And that's with the objective of getting more sales and profits. So the thing that we chose to do was, or the way that we figured out that we could do this is if we have a non-disclosure agreement. So we're going to be revealing sensitive information to you through this series of workshops, and we'll have a non-disclosure agreement to make sure that you can actually attend them. So this is enormously valuable, unlike anything we've ever done before. This alone, by the way, would be worth the price of admission. The second thing that would be worth the price of admission is we're running a 2-day live event, okay? It's a private live streamed 2-day event, a little bit like what we're doing now, right? But for 2 full days, and that'll be 100% content. There'll be no selling or anything like that in there, and we'll be sharing a lot more inner circle secrets, ways that you can take your business to the next level. We'll have student case studies, guest speakers, live question and answer sessions, and much, much more. We've done 1 or 2 of these in the past, and they've just been amazing. 2 full days of pure content. And this has got a value of $4,997. So again, just this, I think, is worth the price of admission. And this training that we're doing here will help with any kind of an online business that you might be running. So it's quite complementary to other things as well. And then we've got the 7-figure scaling secrets. This is an exclusive video series where we talk about how you can scale your business from 100,000 profit to 300 to 1 million and beyond. Now, over the years, we've got pretty good at doing this, but it's something that is very challenging for most people. And it was certainly challenging for us the first few times that we did it. But now that we've actually scaled, I think it's 6 businesses to being multi-million-dollar per year businesses, there are a bunch of things that we've learned, and that's what we're going to be talking about here and showing you exactly how to do it. So I think that's a tremendous bonus, and we've never done anything quite like this before either. So here's a full recap of everything you're getting: the franchise opportunity, the master blueprint, the lead accelerator, the engagement engine, the instant asset hub, the instant asset machine, the delivery hub, the private community, the specialist support, and those 3 bonuses. We've really tried to put our all into this. I mean, this is a project that we started working on about 18 months ago, and we sat down and we said, what would the best program look like? And we came up with a list of all the different components that we would need, and then we went about developing them. And we didn't start with saying, we want to sell something the cheapest way we possibly can. Like, we didn't say, how can we make something for the masses and sell 10,000 copies and maybe we'll sell for $50. We sat down and said, how could we provide the absolute best value? And then based on that, we mapped everything out. We figured out what we would have to do. And then once we had all of this planned out, we said, okay, well, now that we've got this, how can we get it out to people in the most affordable way? And by doing that, I think you could probably see that it gives us an enormous advantage, because the value that we can give you, I mean, it's just off the charts. What we're seeing here is not comparable to, $50 PDF. I mean, it's a genuine partnership opportunity with all the benefits that go with that. So guys, don't delay. If this is something that sounds like it might work for you, I would encourage you to jump in right now. And if you are jumping in, if you've decided that you're going to jump in, please do me a favor. If you're watching this where you can see the live chat, then send us a live chat message to tell us that you've decided to jump in. And that way we'll let you know, we'll be able to identify your time that we're going to be taking some Q&A. I'm just looking at my rough schedule here. So maybe you can come on and we can do a bit of Q&A there. Actually, just before we do that, let me do one more thing. We do have some live stream bonuses. These are the live stream only bonuses that I was talking about. So if you're watching this now, okay, and you're jumping in now, and this is why I told you, if you're going to jump in, please let us know using the live chat box that you're going to jump in. We're going to give you these 3 special bonuses, and we haven't given these out before. These are things that have been part of our $12,000 mastermind group. So these are live presentations by me and by Steve. And the first is the Instagram marketing report. There's a lot of confusion around Instagram and how you can use it to market a business. And we use it in our own business. So what we've done here is packaged up what we do, and we'll make that available to you. And that's something, again, that will complement any kind of online business that you have. The second live stream only bonus is the 10 business growth hacks, okay? And these are things that you can use to get instant results. So these are things that you can implement today and literally start seeing results within 24 hours. So these, again, applicable to any kind of an online business. And then the content marketing master plan. Content marketing is just so key to every online business nowadays. And if you're not doing any of it, then you're missing out. So what we've put together here is our content marketing master plan, how we do it in our business. And I think it'll be tremendously valuable to you as well. So you've got those special bonuses. Maybe before we just take questions from the audience, Steve, my next slide is about the top 7 questions. So these are questions that we get over and over and over again. Maybe what we could do is you could work through these ones first, Steve, and then any others that you've been highlighting in the background. And then we can do a $500 cash giveaway. We can do a live interview. I'm just looking on my schedule here. We could do $500 cash giveaway. We could do a live interview with one of our students. We can give people a sneak peek inside Parallel Profits. You can meet the CEO of our company. I'll recap everything. And then we've got some more content as well, the ASD system. I've got a couple of links that I'm going to give you at the end of the workshop. So at the end of this live stream, I've got a couple of free gifts that we're going to give you. So make sure you stick around for that. But Steve, do you want to work through these now and then any others that you've got on your list there?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would change with that, Aiden, is just from a time perspective, there's lots of really good stuff we need to get to. And we've got so many of these questions being answered in the background. So I think get through these and then sort of press on.
Okay.
And if there's time, we can circle back to other questions and stuff like that, if that's okay with you. Okay, so let's talk about the top 7. So number 1, am I at a disadvantage if I'm not in one of the 5 countries? So, I mean, I never want to say that, having the franchise doesn't give you benefits, but what we are able to do is offer you almost everything with the exception of branding and territory control in those countries where you can't franchise. So if you're in France, as an example, you can take advantage of all of the training, all of our funnel ideas, everything like that, all of our templates for all of our marketing material, everything from soup to nuts. And you can also order the services, just like franchise owners can as well. Additionally, you should keep in mind that even though we're not in, again, let's use France as an example, even though we're not in France right now, if we get, enough people, and it doesn't have to be that many, I mean, maybe 5, ish, somewhere around there, we will go through the hoops of dealing with the EU and France and all that kind of stuff to create a franchise in France. We're getting pretty good at dealing with the different countries. And there's a lot to it, but we'll do it. How do I know if my territory is taken? You can use the order form, and it'll ask for your zip code. And we have behind the scenes some very, very advanced analytics software that is monitoring real time where people are, and making sure that we're on top of, knowing when there's a saturation point. So that's the point where you'll know right then and there if there's a problem. Number 3, if I franchise, who owns the business? You absolutely own the business. There were some questions the other day. Somebody was asking, well, can I partner with someone? Or even maybe 6 months from now or a year from now, can I bring a partner in? And the answer is absolutely, because you can do anything you want. You will own your company, okay? And the thing that makes it a franchise is that you have a franchise agreement with us, okay? So it is completely 100% your owned company to do with what you will. It's your asset, and there should be no confusion there. Number 4, do I need to actually talk to people to make sales? I mean, certainly, ultimately, you will end up talking with someone for sure. However, the hard part is, and where people usually get, sort of concerned, is that initial introduction or interaction, or, I'm not going to call somebody who doesn't even know who I am or anything like that. It's not like that. And there's a lot of times when you never even have to meet these people face to face. It's all done electronically, through email or on the phone. But the sales funnels allow the hard part of this stuff to happen automatically, with zero interaction, right? So if you've already introduced your company, and if you already have a person who's interested in services and they know they have a problem and they're ready for help, that's a whole different conversation, and it's easy and nice and pleasant, actually, as opposed to trying to solicit business from somebody who's, like you're trying to flag them down in the mall or something. It's completely different. Okay.
Hey, Steve, just to jump in there for 1 second, I want to let everyone know that if you have already jumped into this in the past, like you jumped in yesterday or prior to this workshop, this live stream, we're going to make sure that you get all of those bonuses as well there. And the next thing I want to add is I want to read out a few names, thank a few people who have jumped in. We've had Hala, Mark, Robert, Valentina, Wendy, Michael, Michelle, Yassine, Dolores, Matthew, Rudy, Van, Kevin, Paul, Peter, James, Carter. 17 people, I think, have jumped in already. That's what I'm seeing on the back end here. And I know that we've had a lot more people who have said that they're deciding to jump in, and it's in process of jumping in, and they've let us know through the live chat box. So guys, we're going to keep presenting different things to you here, keep answering your questions, but we also want to make sure that you can get in if you want to get in. So if you are decided that you want to get in and give this a go, I would just urge you to use that link now, parallelprofits.com/start, because if you do have any issues, then we want to be able to help you while we are still here. Like maybe there'll be a checkout issue or something or maybe your territory is taken. And if that's the case, then we're going to have to talk to you and figure something out. But we can only do those things while we're here live with you. So I wouldn't wait until the end. I would say just keep listening, open a new tab, so you won't miss anything, and then circle back and let us know once you've actually jumped in. So Steve, sorry to break your flow there. I just wanted to update a few people.
No, absolutely. So after I get in, are there any other costs? So I think this is really important to understand. So you've got your investment. You know what the investment is for Parallel Profits, right? And Parallel Profits gets you to be, the training that's needed in order to be an expert in this business model, for sure, right? Just like Hamburger University. In parallel with that, okay, you will be, looking at agreements, signing agreements to become a franchise owner. And that will cost you $0 to be the franchise owner, okay? And then over and above that, there are absolutely no additional costs until, of course, you make a sale from a customer. And so, when you make a sale of a customer for a website, let's say you sell a website to a customer, development of a 15-page website, maybe you sell that for $1,000. And again, don't worry, we walk you through pricing and coaching you on how to do that, and advice, and it's your decision what you price the services at. You sell that for $1,000, you already knew up front that's going to cost $300 to have us do it for you. So you collect $1,000, you give us $300. For that $300, we are expected to produce that service, give that website, and also make a small profit on our end. Now, our profit margin is going to be a lot less than yours, but that's okay because that's the franchise model. That's how it works. So you can kind of see why there's no additional costs until you start to actually make sales and bring revenue in. And then you have business expenses to get the services done, and you're making an incredibly high profit margin. So the variation on number 6 is like, well, why do you need us? What I don't understand why you want to do this. Why are you franchising? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you could ask the same thing about McDonald's, the $20 billion company, right? 3 decisions or 3 reasons why we made the decision to franchise. Number 1, it's a great way to scale and build a global company. I mean, it's a really good scaling model. And it brings in lots of new viewpoints and ideas and all sorts of good stuff. So it's great. Second reason is because what we've discovered in doing this for years is that these services from a customer acquisition and retention standpoint are actually much better delivered when there's some local connection. People feel a little bit more comfortable with, doing business with either somebody who has lived or does live, not necessarily right next door to them, not even in the same city, maybe not even in the same state, but somewhere in that area, there's some kind of local connection. And that doesn't negate your geographic freedom because, you just have to have that connection when you could be on the beach doing the job, right? Maybe you used to live there even, or you've hired a sales rep that lives there and meanwhile you've moved to Fiji or something. I mean, it's all good, right? There just has to be, just some sort of geographic connection, and we find that works better. And then the last reason is, what I talked about before, Aiden's talked about it. We want to have a huge impact on people. And, greater than 9 out of every 10 franchise investors, people who start franchise businesses, are successful. So that's the path we want to take, right? And then last question, what exactly would I do? Again, it's your business. And what we would encourage you to do is to look at all the activities and say, I'm going to do the ones that I really like, because those are usually the ones that I'm, the best at, and structure your job in that way. It's mostly around customer marketing and sales and marketing, retention, customer service, but all with heavy support from corporate. But if that wasn't your bag, you could hire, there's plenty of margin in this business. You can hire a sales rep to do that. and maybe you want to work on more strategic things, community outreach, whatever it is. Again, I use that example of what does a McDonald's franchise owner do? They kind of can do anything that they want. So.
All right, guys. So we're going to push on here now, and here's the rough schedule. Steve, if you could think of the next question we've got another $500 giveaway happening in the next minute or so here. So here's what we'll do. You can see everything that we've been through already, and there's still a lot more to come. So I think at this point we're quite a long way behind schedule, but that's okay because I don't think we've got a hard finish time here necessarily. So anyway, we're going to do a cash giveaway now. Then we're going to do a live interview. We'll give you a sneak peek inside Parallel Profits. Most of the time, you'll still be able to see a link on the screen that shows you where you can go to sign up. So like I said, anytime that you want to sign up, go ahead and sign up. And then after you've done that, send us a message in the live chat if you're using the live chat, just to tell us that you've jumped in, just so that we can thank you. And as I said, everyone will get access to the special bonuses that I mentioned if you're here. And if you've already jumped in the past, we'll make sure you get those as well. So do you have a question ready, Steve, for the next $500 cash giveaway?
I do. How about this one? How about what year did I start using this business model? Did I start offering these services? What year?
So go for it, guys. You know how this works. Just first person to
wait. I'm gonna look in our other chat here to find out when we've got a winner.
Oh my God! So it's over. Oh my God! I wish I could kind of show you what I'm seeing. Maybe I can. I'll just show you what I can see on one of my screens here. I don't even.
All right, I got one. Ronnie Nyhus. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I apologize. Nyhus. Ronnie, we'll reach out to you. That is Ronnie was the first one with the correct answer there. Aiden.
Awesome. So Ronnie, give us your email, and we'll get $500 cash. So congratulations. And I don't know if you could see my browser, but basically what just happened was we had like 200 messages come in all at once, and it was just like the whole thing was just going up like this. It was, you kind of had. I'm
sure the people that are manning the chat box really appreciated that, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. What was his name? Was it Ronnie?
Ronnie
probably appreciated it. So there you go. All right, guys. So we've got Claudio on the line. Steve, do you kind of want to take this? And Claudio can probably turn his video on and.
Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna have to do. So I'm gonna try and we're gonna try and get. Hey, Mark, if Mark is helping us behind the scenes, if you could help us turn on Claudio's video, that would be awesome. Or Claudio,
if Claudio can just turn it on, you can find the.
Yep. I think we have Claudio's audio. Claudio, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, fantastic. We're trying to work on your video. If you stand by 1 second, Claudio. If you can see where to do it, that'd be awesome. But if not, Mark, if you're there, if you could turn on. Let me just bear with me 1 second.
There we go.
Wait, did we get it?
Yeah.
Hey, Claudio, how are you, man?
You might need to speak up a little bit. Let's see how the audio goes.
Yeah. All right, Claudio, give me a testing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, that's good. I think that's pretty good. Aiden, did you hear that?
That works. Yeah, that works.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Claudio, we're a little behind schedule, so I'm just going to do an intro here, and I'm going to dive right into the big thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, bringing you online, which is some of the things that people perceive as a barrier to this business model, and I'm going to ask you to just speak to them, okay? But just from a quick background perspective, Claudio was in the corporate world like me, and you were in the fashion industry, right? Essentially.
Yes, I used to work for Prada.
Prada, there you go.
Yes.
Love Prada. I love Prada.
Yes. And other fashion houses too. 14 years, actually. Yeah.
So Claudio was big in the corporate world, and they took advantage. Claudio speaks several languages, including Italian, which is pretty handy with Prada. And was super successful as an executive within the fashion industry. And then come, around 2008, there came the global financial crisis. And like many folks, it really hit Claudio very, very hard. So he really had to start over and started to build this business right then, around 2008 or 2009. So my one question for you, Claudio, is you could have done a lot of different things. Why did you choose to do this business model? and not say, go back to corporate or some other business model? What drove you to this business model?
Okay, I think this is a story that none of you guys know. The last assignment that I have as an operations manager of one of these companies that I work was to build the e-commerce website for the company. So I was in New York and I hired a web design company, to develop it. I was working in watches and they charge us $13,000. I mean, this is 12 years ago. And I said, are you kidding? I started looking for other quotes and they were 20,000, 18,000. I says, wow. So when I lost my job, and I already told my wife, I says, I like this business. This business is beautiful, is modern. This is the future. I think I can do it even from home, like you say, check all the boxes, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to start. So I learned everything from scratch. And that's why it took me so long,
Right. So you basically just, took a look at the model itself and said, this is the way to go because it ticks all the boxes. I love it. And then, so you've been running this business model now for around almost 10 years now. And I know that in 2019, I think your goal is going to be somewhere in the $400,000 to $500,000 range for revenue, which is amazing.
Yes.
So congratulations.
The last year, thank you very much. The last year was fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
And in January, we broke the record again. We thought December and November we broke the record, but now January has been boom,
That's fantastic.
And February is looking amazing. We expect to be completely debt free by the end of this year.
That's amazing, which is great. And you had a lot of incurred debt from the whole, financial crisis and all that kind of stuff. So it's fantastic. Wonderful.
Yes.
So here's one. So let me focus on a couple things, because here are what I think people perceive as the barriers to this. And I want to get your take on it. Barrier number one, getting customers. What would you say to people is, how, in other words, how hard or how easy is it to get customers?
All right. Very good question, but I just want to step back a little bit on my previous in my background. I never worked for sales, never. I work in operations and logistics and distribution. So for me, going into this, it was the first barrier, but it's more mental than anything. No, my best friend who drives a limousine is the one to offer me, why don't you do a website for my boss? Okay,
right.
And like that. In Florida, it's the same thing. The landscaping guy, I said, do you, I noticed your website needs some help. Oh, I've been looking forever to find somebody to do my website. Boom, website for landscaping. Now we have done 10 websites for landscaping. The pool guy, it was the same thing, and over and over. Friends, I mentioned this to you. I have never done advertising. I know other people that doesn't, and it works. Advertising works all day long. Okay, but me personally, I hate cold calling. I never sent an unsolicited email. Okay, and everything has been the friends or referrals, and many of my clients even became my friends. Okay,
so the bottom line is, at the end of the day, anybody who's worried about getting customers shouldn't worry. That's basically the takeaway.
No. And something else to say. I have a minor.
Just one thing I wanted to point out there, Claudio, also, and just to point this out, one of the things about you is that you speak several languages, which is awesome. But one thing that could be even a problem for you is you've got an accent, and so in your marketing in the United States, and so on the phone, it even sounds heavier, right? But even that didn't get in your way.
No, not only that, I have dyslexia. So, boom.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, it's terrible. You have no idea. You see, I was able to control the dyslexia, but right when the market crashed, I had a surgery on my knee. When I woke up of anesthesia, and I was typing something, I couldn't read what I was typing. I says, oh my God, what happened? And all these 10 years, I've been trying to fight it back, but it still is there. You know, it's very interesting. Yes, I have an accent.
I know. Everybody can tell now.
And it's heavy.
So what about? Sorry, go ahead. So I just want to get to some of these barriers because what about another thing that people are I think again a perceived barrier is, you know, I understand that small business owners need this service and they're hungry for it and stuff, but they'd never pay that much for it. Do you ever have problems explaining the value of these services to these customers?
No, you know, it's very simple, okay? And it's easier now because everything is through the cell phone, right? Something near me. So I said, right. How's your website looks like? And they say, well, you need some help. Well, you should be careful. You know, it's like you want to be healthy, no? And this is, of course, right. I want to be healthy. Well, your website, it shows the health of your company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you come? Can I send you, you know, how much you charge?
Right.
What I do is I send an email. You know, this is because my accent and so on, sometimes, many times don't understand me. So right. I'm going to do this. I am going to send you an email with some examples of websites that we have done.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know, and because my accent, they ask me if I live here.
Right.
You know, right. Yeah, I live here. So I'm part of the community. Okay, perfect. So I send the email. The next thing is, okay, how much do you charge? You know, well, for that website that I send, I charge this amount of money, and that's it. You know,
yeah. So that's not a problem.
No, I have at least 5 clients that I have never met.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Three that I have never even spoken to. 0, like nothing. And they live in this city, but they are busy. You know.
Yeah.
And then,
I love that. That's great. What about keeping customers? I mean, do you find that it's hard once you have a customer? Because that's another barrier. I think people think, geez, it's going to be, you know, it's hard to keep these people paying. You know, do you find it hard to keep people on board?
No, absolutely not. You see, once you deliver the job, and you do a good job, they love you. And I have a client, it's $500 a month, paying me 7 years or more, you know, right. Nonstop. And every year, some of the clients, I spend Christmas in their home, another one's vacation. I mean, we become a family because once right. you start taking care of their business, and then you're serious, they will never drop you. Why? You know, why they will change something that once you find, I mean, even you, when you find a good store, when you have a good mechanic, when you have a good lawyer, why are you going to change? You know, you're just going to.
I'm still looking for a good lawyer, but okay, I got you in the other. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more question for you because I've also seen this as people like a perceived barrier. Do you ever have customers that are like just a real total pain in the ass, like they bother you about, you know, like this isn't right and it's still not good and I need more and more. I mean, like on average, I'm just trying to say like how high maintenance are these customers is kind of maybe what I'm trying to ask.
Very good question. Every now and then, maybe once every 2 or 3 years, I have one of those. Okay.
Right.
And I, you know, kindly I says, you know, I think maybe we're not a good match, you know, because life is like that, you know. And I rather prefer to step aside and maybe you can find somebody else that can actually take care the way that you want. You know, it's true, but sure. I really don't care. I mean, I have collected 75 clients, you know, that every now and then they call me and they are happy, and I give my life for them too. You know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful going to a place. I hear you before. You were saying you go to a place and the people comes with, you know, and everybody asks you. I'm like that right now. I go to a place and say, "Oh my God, can you help me with this, please? What is your next appointment?" And I'm like, "Okay, I think it's Tuesday afternoon. I have some time for you." You know.
See, the difference is you like doing that. I hate when people bother me. So you know that's. But the bottom line is you've got customers. You know, you can fire customers if you don't like them because you know you can get more, and it's not that big of a deal. So I mean that's the bottom line.
Yes. Yes.
Claudia, thank you so much. I just, I think you've done a really good job of, my goal was really to show someone who's doing this model, who's been doing it super successfully, who's taking care, supporting their family, has a great lifestyle, and to sort of say, look, if you're worried about this, or this, it's not something you need to be worried about. So thanks, mate. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch up with you soon.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks,
care.
Claudia. That's awesome.
Bye.
And some good insights there for sure. Just to recap very quickly here, these are the different components that everyone is going to be getting access to when you jump into Parallel Profits today. And you don't need to wait until the end of this call to jump in. If you're ready to jump in right now, you can absolutely do that. And we're going to keep providing some more content here, some more information. And but if you jump in right now, you will have instant access to everything. So the next thing that we've got here is a sneak peek inside. So let me show you very quickly. This is what the inside of the members area looks like. Now you'll see there's different sections. There's a welcome video from Steve, just laying out what you can do to get started. There's 13 different modules, and these will be populated little by little, week by week. There's a good amount of stuff for you to get on with right now. We had the first session a few days ago. You'll be able to see that. We've got a section for tools, resources, frequently asked questions, and a few more extras to come in there as well. Now, the next person that we've got up here, and I'm not sure if Rory is able to come online now. Steve, do we want to do this now, or do we want me to do another recap of things, or do we want to take more questions?
I think maybe a quick recap, and then we can. I'll line up having our next guest. How about that?
Perfect. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll do a quick recap of everything that you're getting here, guys, and then after we've done that, we can bring in Rory. So module number 1 is the master blueprint, and this is the start to finish training where we've taken everything that we do, we've systematized it all, and we show you from start to finish, from A to Z, how you proceed with this business and get things set up and making money in record time. Then we've got the lead accelerator. This is how you get leads coming into the top of your funnel there. And there's different ways to do this. I mean, we've got 6 different lead funnels that we actually use. We spoke about one sort of virtual funnel, which is automated on this workshop, and there's certainly other ones, and Claudio sort of gave you a hint of a couple of those as well. But we give you everything, all the training on acquiring the leads, getting the traffic, and we even give you leads as well that you can put in the top of your funnel, and then everything that goes on behind the scenes, like the actual proven email funnels that we use in our business, and then the engagement engine. So there's different ways that you can engage with your customers and your potential customers, and it really depends on your personality type. Like you heard how Claudio sounds like he might be someone who enjoys talking to people, so he can pick up the phone if he wants to, he can call them, he can go and visit them if he wants to. But if that's not you, then we've got different engagement processes in place. And certainly one way that we close a lot of our customers is using the automated sequences, which are built into the engagement engine. So that's all done for you with done for your email sequences and lots of other bells and whistles. All of the marketing assets that you would possibly need. So websites, brochures, business cards, your fully functioning, landing page, all this is done for you, set up, ready to go. The delivery hub, this is the 5th component, and this is how you sell a service. You might sell it for, let's say, $500. You get paid, money comes into your account, and once you've got the money, you're going to submit the service to the delivery hub. And you might say, okay, well, I've just received $500 to the search engine optimization campaign. Now, to do it through the delivery hub, it's going to cost $75. That's the wholesale price. You'll press a button, and then that'll start the whole process. And the delivery hub guys, our team in the background, will deliver what you need, and you'll just pass that straight on back through to the customer. So it's all streamlined, all automatic. We actually built this out for our own purposes because we needed a more streamlined way to get work from the customer to the developers or the designers or whatever it is that was actually delivering it. And it turned out to be a really key part of our business because it meant that we could step away and be less involved than ever. So so the value in the delivery hub is huge. And then there's the private community and the specialist support. This is a 60-day roadmap of where we are headed. So that's a full overview, by the way, of the different components. And there's a few bonuses that we mentioned earlier. This is a 60-day roadmap of the different components that we're going to be teaching you on here. And right now we're at week 0, day 0. So the only thing you need to worry about right now is securing your access. Once you're on the inside, we'll be going through, giving you a whole business overview, helping you build a business plan, talking about some simple setup tasks that you need to be doing, talking about how the franchise works. And then we get into the fun stuff. So week 3, week 4, we're going to be talking about the execution plan that you're going to be using for your marketing, and exactly piece by piece by piece, how we roll that out and how we get that going. Sales magnet setup. Now, we haven't even spoken about this yet, but this is a fun part of the process because it's how you can start making sales. So we'll go through setting that up with you. And as soon as that's set up, you can make money. As soon as you've got that foundation laid, you can start making money, start making sales. And without even knowing how to do all the delivery and run the business, you can actually be earning money. And that's the beauty of this, is that you can earn while you learn. So week 5, 6, 7, 8, and beyond, we will be training you on how to run and operate the business. We have been, we're just going to do a little bit, go through a few more of these things because we are a little bit behind here. Then we'll circle back and you'll get to meet the CEO. So the Holy Grail business, we've spoken about this a few times in the past few days, and there are 14 key factors. And these 14 things, or you should always try to, if you're analyzing a business, you should look to see how many of these they've got and which ones are most important to you. So, for example, do you want to have something that can give you absolutely rapid results? Is that the most important thing? Are you building something that you want to sell? Are you looking to get into something that's super predictable? Hopefully all of these things, but I'll just race through them. So starting at the top, we want something that's easy to sell. And basically, the better performing the business is, the easier it's going to be to sell. And this one is super easy to sell because it's almost like a hybrid linking online to offline. So we're a typical online business. You could sell it for 10 times the monthly profits. With this kind of a business, it's more like 50 times the monthly profits. Low ongoing maintenance. By this we mean you don't have to be in the business running it all that much yourself if you don't want to. Not too technical, because if you've ever tried doing something technical online before and you're not a technical person, it can be a huge roadblock. Respectable. Something that you can be proud to tell your family and friends about. Rapid results. It's good to get instant gratification, some quick wins. High profits in your first year, high profits in your third year. So third year is an indicator that it's going to be scalable, but you need to have high profits in the first year as well if it was the Holy Grail business. Excellent cash flow. You can do a lot of sales in a business like selling physical products on Amazon. You could do $100,000 in sales in your first year, but you might only keep 15 or 20% of that, and it's not great for cash flow because you have to reinvest that back into buying more inventory. And look, I'm not knocking that model. We do a lot of that. We do millions and millions of dollars every single year selling physical products on Amazon and on our own websites. But it's a different beast because you have to reinvest so much in inventory, months even before you can start making that money back. So, we're investing in August to make money in December for inventory for physical products. So, that puts a strain on cash flow. What we're talking about here with Parallel Profits provides excellent cash flow. Low customer count, we're talking about 7 customers giving you $100,000 in profit per year. Low fixed costs, these are super low and you only have costs once you've got customers. So there's not even any costs that you need until you've got a customer. Predictable, and very low startup costs. So low fixed costs might be like ongoing, advertising that you might need to do or something like that. And then low startup is the money that you spend to actually get the business off the ground. And what we're doing here, maybe you need 10, 20 bucks. I would say, gun to my head, maybe 50 bucks at the most for some miscellaneous supplies of some kind. I can't even think what they might be because we give you everything. And then low competition, that's going to make your life so much easier. So the business that we're talking about, Parallel Profits, it's actually got every single one of those things. And it's the only business I know of that has every single one of those things. And this is another way that you can compare different businesses. We put them in this matrix and you can see Amazon white label, affiliate marketing, dropship e-commerce, Kindle, info products, Amazon wholesale, and software as a service. None of these stack up to the level of the Parallel Profits model. It's just basically untouchable, this model, and it does so well in however you measure it, it does so well. You know, and we've spoken about the holy grail factors. Some of them are repeated here because this is a business opportunity comparison. So stacks up really, really well. Now, we will have gifts, but I think before we do that, let me just check where we're at here. I think what I'll do first is I'm going to skip through and just talk about some of the barriers that people might have, because we are a little bit short of time here. And then we'll come back and we'll do the interview with our CEO, and we'll give you these gifts. But let me get to the barriers first. And guys, if you have jumped in, please send us a little message to let us know that you've jumped in, and we'd love to be able to thank you. I'm going to read out some of the names of the people who have jumped in here. So we've had Victoria, Charles, Lajos, Faye, Mosh, Johnny, Paolo, Cheryl, Aaron, Richard, Andrew, Rick, Hala, Sandra, Tandia, David, Brian, Andrew, and Angus. Guys, thank you so much. These are people that have just jumped in since we've been on this workshop. So thank you so much. It means a lot to us that you've put your trust in us, and I look forward to working with you on the inside. And if you haven't jumped in yet but are ready to do so, you can use that link that you see on the screen there. So what I want to talk about now are some of the biggest barriers that you might come across or come up against, and just work through them with you a little bit. So number one is I can't afford it. And this is one that comes up. And look, this is, we know this is not chump change. We're not talking about you investing 10 or 20 bucks here. This is a significant amount of money. But it's something that can bring back much, much more money. And sometimes it's a knee-jerk reaction for people to say, look, I can't afford it. But in reality, if it was a big priority for you, maybe there's a way that you could scrape the money together. And the extreme example that I've been giving people is if you found out that you had to spend $2,497 today to get an operation done to save your little finger from falling off, you'd find a way to scrape that money together if you're super, super willing to do something. So sometimes it's not a question of actually being able to afford it. It's being willing to do what it takes to get in. So, and maybe if it's tough for you to get in, then look at, think outside the box a little bit, be resourceful. Maybe you can get in with a partner, get in on the split payment plan, $997. And, our roadmap is not like set in stone or anything, but there's a good chance that you'll be able to have sales coming in before the second rebill is due. So, I can't afford it is not always the case. It's sometimes more a case of, am I willing to do whatever it takes to jump in? The second one is I don't have enough time. And look, one thing I know about you is if you're on this workshop now, if you're on this live stream, we've actually been going, is that right? Yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes. So if you've been with us from the start, I know you've got some time, but even if you've only just joined us right now, I know one thing I know about you for sure is you can make time for the things that are important to you. We all do that. It's prioritizing, right? And I know that everyone can get up 15 minutes earlier if you know that it's going to make a difference, or go to bed 15 minutes later, or stop watching a TV show or something. But and the other thing to keep in mind is that this is not a time-intensive business. This is a business that you can set up and run on just a handful of hours per week. So we're not even asking you for 10 or 15 or 20 hours per week. If you've got that to invest, fantastic. You can put your foot on the accelerator here. But when people say I don't have time, it's an excuse. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's an excuse because everyone has time if they want to make it a priority. Another one that we get sometimes is I don't think I'm capable of this. And look, that's understandable. It's a normal reaction because it's something completely new. You're going outside your comfort zone. But what I'll tell you, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of peace of mind, is we've worked with thousands and thousands of students over the years, and we've helped so many of them build businesses in areas that they knew nothing about. So as you'll see when you're on the inside, we're guiding you through step by step by step by step by step. And not only that, but we are, for the first time ever, we're being partners with you as well. So if you're worried about your own personal ability, then just lean on us a little bit. We're here to help you, and we're incented to help you as well. This is the simplest business model that we operate. There's no complex Facebook ads. There's no negotiations or product design with China. You don't have to worry about buying inventory or almost any of the other common headaches that people have dealing with customer support. We've only got a handful of customers, so how much support really could there be? So I can guarantee you that you are capable and you have the ability to do this. Sometimes people say as well, like, I'm confused. And that's also normal, especially in this day and age. I mean, you're getting torn in a dozen different directions. You're probably getting dozens of different emails every single day from different companies who want a piece of your time. And maybe you're even getting emails all the time about different business opportunities. Maybe some of them might even have some element of worth to them, but it's tough nonetheless. It makes it hard because you're being torn in lots of different directions. But if you jump into this with us, we can give you complete clarity, because it's going to be the one thing that you're focusing on. It's going to be the one thing that you're dedicated to. We're going to be guiding you through, holding you accountable every step of the way. So week 1, we'll do this. Week 2, you'll do this. Week 3, you'll do this. Of course, you can go forward at your own pace. We've had people jump in, and before they jumped in, they asked us, look, I'm going on vacation for a couple of weeks. Am I going to be able to do it? And yeah, of course, that's fine. But we've also got these milestones in place. And part of the reason we have them is just to eliminate the confusion and give you complete clarity. So don't let that be the reason you don't jump in. Another one is, I'm afraid. And this is also a completely natural human reaction, to be afraid of going outside of your comfort zone and doing something new. But you know what? That's really where the magic happens. It's okay to be afraid, and especially if you consider the worst case scenario. So if you're afraid of jumping in, what are you afraid of? Is it spending the money because you've got 60 days to test it all out? Is it afraid of doing something you've never done before? Maybe, but that's fine, because to get different results to anything you've got in the past, you've got to do something different that you haven't done before. So don't let your fears be the thing that stops you. I mean, we can help you with a lot of the other things like that we're talking about here, but your fear, if that's the thing that's stopping you from going to that URL and putting in your information, then just don't let that cripple you. Don't let that just stop you doing anything, because the magic happens when you push forward anyway. And the real opportunity, I'll tell you what, the real barrier is opportunity. That's the real barrier, not time, not money, not confusion, not personal ability. It's opportunity, because 7.5 billion people on planet Earth, how many do you think are gonna see this? Very, very few of them. Yet you're still here. You're watching this. You're here with us right now. So you are seeing the opportunity. So the opportunity is not the barrier for you, but it is for everyone else out there. And maybe this is something that you've been waiting a long time to see. In fact, you probably know by now if this sounds like something that could potentially work for you. This is for someone who's serious, looking to build a serious business. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme or anything like that. This is a real, legitimate business, and we're going to be guiding you through. So hopefully, if that is you, then you'll know who you are and you'll be able to jump in here. You've seen some of our student success stories. You spoke to Claudio, who's been a student of ours for many years now. Here's another one. This is Adrian in Las Vegas, and Steve and I toasting to his success there. And he's another guy that got into this business model. He's part of our mastermind group, and we pushed him to come into this business model when he was facing some tough times a few years ago, when his freelance video production business took a bit of a nosedive. And he came into this and he did very well. He got some immediate results, and he still does it today on the side, even though he's gone back to doing video production. $25,900 from just one sale. And this one here was a mixture. We spoke about it earlier: search engine optimization, hosting, and I think it was web design as well. And we're going to pocket $20,500 from this. And yeah, some of our customers still pay us with checks. It's something that always makes me laugh a little bit in 2019, but it's pretty, I'm certainly not complaining about it. $4,050. This is from one recurring sale. You can see the date on there. It came in just a few days ago. Chad, $187,000. This is Claudio. You heard from him a moment ago. The growth potential here is off the charts as well. I mean, I don't know of another business where you can grow just as fast as you can with this business right here. So some more questions. We'll take some more questions in a moment. In fact, in about 2 minutes, we'll go back to talk to our CEO, and we've got some more gifts for you. We've got another $500 cash to give away. But just to make a few more points here, because I know a lot of people are on the fence with this, and we've still got questions rolling in. Now, and I'm just going to actually get a sip of Gatorade here before we push on. So,
is that all that's in there?
Wow, I've been sipping away on it. Yeah, so it's all that's in there. That's all that's in there. Got through my coffee already, and I wish there was something else in here actually, but maybe later. So look, if you've got a question, if you're unsure about anything, please use the live chat option that we've got so that you can get that question answered. And we want to make sure that we answer your question before the end here. So just while you're doing that, I'll cover a few more things, then we'll circle back and we'll come on with our CEO. We can hear from him. So I mentioned you might need to be resourceful. Look, if this is a challenge for you to get into, then think outside the box a little bit. You know, partner with someone. I don't know, just try to think of a way that you can get $997 together, essentially, to get in. And then this is something, I mentioned this earlier as well when we were going through the mindset stuff, the when-then trap. A lot of people wait until all the stars are aligned, until everything is absolutely perfect before they jump in to any kind of an opportunity or do something. You know, it's like, well, I'm going to start studying Spanish when I have more time, or I'm going to, you know, start investing, you know, when I've got a bit more money. But if you're always waiting, you're not. It makes it impossible to be able to get forward, basically, because when you're waiting, if you just think about it logically, when you're waiting for something to happen, you're just relying on luck, essentially. Whereas if you're taking action, even if it's a small action, then that's the way that you can get, you know, results happening. So don't wait for everything to be perfect in your life before you take an opportunity. If this is an opportunity that you like and you think, well, you know, maybe in the next month I'm not going to be able to do anything about it, jump in anyway, because you can still start in a month's time. This business is not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And look, you just have to get in if you want to get in, but take some kind of an action. And if it's not this, then do something else in 2019. Just find something, though, something new, something different to give yourself a chance. When we were talking about the common characteristics of the millionaires, one of the ones that we said was they are massive action takers. And for some people, it doesn't come naturally to take action. Some people need a lot of time to think about something. And that's just how some people work. But unfortunately, with this, you don't really have much time because we are shutting down. Territories are being snapped up all the time. You know, you could figure all of this out on your own if you wanted to. I've got no doubt about that at all. It's a simple business model. We figured it out on our own, but it took us years. And, you know, if you try to figure it out on your own, maybe it'll take you a couple of years to get to where we could get you to in just a couple of weeks here. So, and look, that doesn't even take into consideration all the money that you would potentially lose by the mistakes you would make, the headaches and, you know, heartache you'd have along the way, and just lost opportunity. We can help you hit the ground running with this. You know, we've got this built to perfection at this point. It's a well-oiled machine, and you'll get instant access to all of that. I spoke to you a little bit about how we built this from the ground up, and we didn't say, you know, we're going to create a $100 product. No, we said we want to make the perfect product. What would it look like? What are all the components we would need? And we'll worry about the cost later. So we did that. We built the perfect product. We put everything into it. We set up franchises in 5 different countries. You know, we've been through a lot of hoops to get to where we are now, with software, with designing everything, with the members area, with bringing on a full team, scaling our operation so that we can slot you into it. And that's what the reason we did all this was because we wanted to be able to give you the most value that we could possibly give you. And then once we had put all this together, we said, okay, well, what is the most accessible that we can make this for? And it was $2,500 or 3 payments of $997. So that's how we approached the pricing. And hopefully you can see that doesn't really compare to anything else that's out there. And, you know, the other alternative is just to do nothing, you know. And a good friend of mine said to me many years ago, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. If you want to get change in your life, you have to do something different. And this is definitely something different, radically different, probably to anything you would have tried in the past. I want you to know as well that I'm nothing special especially with this business model, you know. I didn't study any of this thing. I just worked my butt off, and I was willing to follow processes. Now, this business is the simplest of any of the businesses that we're involved in. And that's great, because what it means is it's not about your talent or your ability. It's about if you can follow a simple recipe and follow a process, because we're going to give you the ingredients, we're going to give you the recipe. All you need to do is follow the process. And we'll even hold your hand along the way while you're following the process. But the point is, it doesn't matter if you've tried and failed in the past. It doesn't matter if you don't have a good technical knowledge or anything else for that matter. because your existing talent or ability, has no bearing on your success here. I've mentioned it's going to save you a lot of time. There's 3 simple steps we're going to be working through. You're getting everything that you could possibly need. And look, you deserve this. I mean, one thing that used to keep me going when I was starting out was I used to say to myself, I know there are so many people out there that make money online. I can too. So that was my belief. I had this belief that I could do it. And thank God that I had that belief, because it came true. And if I didn't have that pulling me through, maybe I would have quit or something. But you can do this. The dream is real. But you need to put yourself in a position to win. And you can do that by going to that link that you can see on the screen there. If you're willing to work hard, then we can help you. If you're willing to, set aside anything that you've tried in the past and just follow our recipe, then we can help you. And this is another thing that people sometimes say to us. They say, oh, well, hang on, this is going to be a real business. People are going to find out about this. What are my family going to think? What are my friends going to think? And the reality is it's a business that you can keep completely private if you want to. You don't have to share it with anyone. I mean, you can be running it privately on the side for years if you wanted to. But it's also a business that's incredibly valuable to the people that you're serving. It's incredibly well respected. Everyone has respect for the kind of things that we're delivering here. And people can understand it. So it's, if you do want to share a business with anyone, then this is probably the one that you would want to share. And look, it's better to try it out and figure out that it's not for you and then get a refund than just to do nothing. And, what happens if you don't do this? January is in the books. 2019 is going to fly by. I hope you do something different this year to last year. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with what you've got going on right now, but most people I know like to get ahead, like to grow. I mean, I'm always looking for ways that, I love where I'm at in my life right now, but I'm always looking for ways that I can grow after that self-growth, more financial freedom, more time freedom, more geographic freedom. And if that's you as well, then you need to do something different to be able to get different results to what you've had in the past. And if you don't do anything, then you just risk letting another year slide by, getting the same results you've always had in the past, which might be fine. But if you want a little bit more, then this can be something that can set you up nicely. So something else I sometimes ask myself is, what's the worst that could happen? You get into this, I mean, you've got 0 financial risk. You invest some of your time. If you decide that's not for you, then that's fine. But this is an opportunity that I think has been waiting for you. And if you like the sound of it, you should jump in. Don't wait any longer. You can go to that link that you can see on the screen there and take the leap of faith. And it can be scary, but look, just go outside your comfort zone, because again, you don't have anything to lose here. You've got everything to gain. Steve, I think now might be a good time perhaps to call in Rory.
Absolutely. Let's do that. Hey, Rory, if we can get your audio and video on, that'd be fantastic.
Steve, can you hear me there?
I can hear you, but I can't see you yet, but it might be a little bit.
That's okay. That's okay. No, 1 second. I was going to check if you could hear me first, and now I'll put on the video.
Okay. All right. Oh my God.
Which I wasn't expecting that would be on video, and I saw Claudio, and I said, "Oh God, I better go get my hair done, makeup, and all that stuff."
So wait, this is the better. This is the after picture. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, no, actually, I didn't have time to do it in the end. So, this is my just out of the swimming pool look.
I understand. All right. So anyway, all right. So aside from being the the famous Guinness drinker in Ireland, there, Rory is the CEO of the franchise company now, and that may be confusing to people. And I'm going to ask him some questions about that. What does that mean in a minute? But let's just set the stage here. You met us many years ago. So just give us a little bit of background. All right, you met us, and then you were doing a whole bunch of this stuff, and sort of just how did we get ourselves here? Be good to hear.
Yeah, that's a good question, Steve. Do I know the answer to that? I'm not sure. So we met. Maybe I'll just explain. Should I explain a little bit about my own background first?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. So just so people know where I come from. So I left college in in about 1992, and really didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. So so I headed off obviously I'm from Ireland, but I moved to France for a while, and I worked there for a couple of years, and became apparent that I really needed to run my own business. I really wanted a business. So actually the first thing I did was look at a franchise, because for me that just seemed to be the easiest way to ensure success, you know. So I looked at this franchise, and it's funny, it's so long ago, the franchise, what they offered was recycling ribbons for typewriters. So I'll tell you how that is, right? And it eventually grew into something that did, you know, printer cartridges and all that kind of thing. But that didn't work out for me. I didn't buy that business in the end, and I ended up going into the hotel business. So I ran a hotel, my own hotel, for about 8 years, and that's how I got into the online side of things, because I bought a hotel that was open 6 months of the year, and I turned it into a 12-month-a-year business just by doing the online thing right. That was pretty much all I did, you know. The rest of the business was all around process and that kind of thing, which meant that in 2008 I was able to exit that at a very healthy profit and go and sail the world. So that was good. Right.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so essentially you were like the prototype customer really of this service for a little while.
Yeah, I would have been the prototype customer of this service for a little while. Yeah, in fact, although I did it myself, but I would have been. But then, you know, from what I learned there, and then what I learned from you guys when I met you first back in probably 2010, I started my own digital agency once I got back to Ireland, and we did really well with that. And we migrated from that then to an e-commerce company. Again, we learned a lot of that from you guys, and did really well on that. And we actually sold that to a US company at the beginning of last year, the beginning of 2017.
Right. That's fantastic. Good stuff. So
I suppose, sorry, your question was, how do we end up here, right?
I think you answered it.
Yeah, I forgot that. Okay, all right.
No, I think so. So I think it's important, because I think I guarantee you there's some confusion on here about, okay, the training course and the franchise company, and Rory's the CEO, but what the hell are you the CEO of exactly?
Good question. Okay, so to explain to people, right, we've got there's a training company, and that's Parallel Profits. Okay, so Parallel Profits are offering this course on how to set up a digital agency. So out of that, there will be some people who will want to run that themselves, who will want to just do their own thing, you know, create their own business and build a profitable business in wherever they are in the world. But where I come in, where we come in, I mean, there's a lot of overlap between the companies. So Stephen and Aidan and myself and Claudio are partners in the franchise company, and we will run the franchise. So what we have built over the last year is all the processes, all the teams, all the products, all the software, all this stuff, and that's what I'm here to do. So I have like 2 big stickers up here on my screen. So, you know, when I come into work every morning, I think, okay, well, what am I going to do today? You know, and the 2 things I have up here is, the first one is like to empower and support ambitious entrepreneurs to control their own destiny by building a local business they're proud of. Right, that's the first thing I think about, and I look at that. Okay, that's what I'm here to do. Right, so that means that I'm here to help all the people who want to become franchisees or partners to take control of their own destiny and to grow that business for themselves. And that's a key thing for me. Then the other thing I'm looking for then, because I see me as having like 2 different customers. So the main one and the most important one for me is the partners, or the franchisees. But secondly, you know, the end customer, who's going to be the customer of the franchisee, is also critical to the success for all of us. And so I have another sticker on my desk that says, to keep your promise to deliver customer generation services to local business owners. And like, really, if that's all I have to do. If I do those 2 things, I think we're all good.
Yeah, I totally agree. You found yourself, when we first approached you with this idea, you were basically at a crossroads, because you sold the existing business. You were ready to do a couple different things. You basically had a lot of different options. So my question is, why did you choose to do this?
Yeah, so I had a couple of different options, but I had one really interesting option that I was actually had just started when we spoke first. But then when I started to talk to you guys and you told me about what you were thinking, there was a lot of things I liked about it. And so, like, I have this, Aidan spoke about this a lot in the webinars and today, about the why. Like, what is the why that's going to make you get out of bed in the morning? Because, like, there's some tough mornings, and it's not money that's going to get you out of bed those tough mornings. You need something bigger than that. You got to have a bigger why. And for me, my why is liberating ventures and family adventures. So I'm looking like for really interesting ventures that allow me and my family to have adventures, right? My wife's from South America. We like to travel a lot and that kind of thing. And I like, there's that unpacks into a whole lot of stuff, right? But this really like grabbed my attention because it really fitted all those things. Because I'd be really looking forward to kind of visiting franchisees all over the world and that kind of thing, and just, making things work. But there's that. And then the other thing is the huge challenge and impacting people's lives. Like I said, we want to like empower those entrepreneurs, and this is a real chance to do that on a really big scale. You guys do this on a big scale regularly, but I've never had the opportunity to do it at that scale before. So I really like that and the global nature of the business. So that's really why I made that decision to jump ship and jump in here and get this up and running.
That's awesome. What do you think's been, you brought up challenge, that it's a big challenge, and I totally understand. What do you think's been the biggest challenge since we sort of said, yeah, let's do it?
Yeah, that's a tough question because there's been a lot of them, right? And I think for me, one of the big challenges just we're going to be dealing with like so many different individuals, and the challenge to try and help each one of those individuals the way that they're going to need to be helped, right? So I think like big brush strokes isn't going to work here, So that's why, we're going to put in place some processes where we can really understand what individuals' goals are, what their strengths are, maybe if they have some weaknesses, what they are as well. And then what I want to be able to do is to kind of tailor make training, services, and support for those guys, And so, we're going to bring on board a sales coach and probably multiple sales coaches. But so the role of the sales coach will be, to work with specific franchisees to help them to grow their business, right? And so, like, if we help the franchisees, that's the key to this. If we help the franchisees grow their business, then everybody wins, right? So that's going to be the major point of focus, is understanding what people need and then helping them out with that. But actually, just one other thing, I just noticed in chat there, sorry, just like a lot of things coming up about the customer support and the quality of the service and all that kind of thing. And while I talk here about, the focus being on the franchisee, I've got to look just one step forward as well and look at the customer. If we aren't supplying like the best services to those customers, then this whole thing falls apart, right? So I need people to understand that like this is not a short-term thing for us. This is a really long-term business for us and for you as franchisees. And therefore, we need to keep those customers for the long term. Otherwise, it becomes really expensive to try and get new customers again and again. So customer retention is going to be really important. And that's why, having really good services is critical to this as well. We'll be working really hard to make sure that that's right.
Yeah, fantastic. Do you, you've been circling around it, but any other thoughts on, just the relationship between the franchise company that, is your responsibility and the franchise owners? I want to make sure they understand what a powerful partner they have,
Yeah. So, okay. So let's take this just on the big picture for a minute, right? So one of the key things here, people can look up franchises, right? And they can understand what's a franchise and what to get, and you get systems and you get software, and, we teach you how to do things, and, you can buy our products that, that we can have this like economy scale and sell them to you like at a really good margin for you. Right. But the other thing is, because there's going to be so many of us, like all working towards a common goal, we're just going to have this huge group of people with the same mission. And I think that we're going to be able to kind of learn so much from each other. We've learned a lot already. I've learned a lot from my own agency. I've learned a lot from the other agencies, like your agencies and other people that we're involved with, right? So I've learned a lot from that. And we have put all those systems together and created like what I think is an unbelievable system and process for making this business work, right? But have we learned everything there is to learn? No, we haven't, right? Because people are going to go out there and they're going to learn new things for us, and they're going to figure out new stuff, and everybody's different. But we're going to be able to pull all that together then and use that for the benefit of everybody else, right? Because we're not even competing with each other, so there's no problem with that, Right. So like a lot of so that's kind of the big picture. But at a a more granular level for the franchisee, I mean, what do they get? Well, for me, I mean, the main thing, and it's why I was interested in franchising in the first place, is they get this like success factor, right? Like you mentioned it earlier on. I think that you mentioned the 90% versus the 15% of startups, right? And so where I work, there's a lot of startup companies here, and it's a real hard slog for them. They've got to make all the mistakes, and they've got to learn from all the mistakes. We've made many of those mistakes already, so we've learned all that, and we've built systems to make sure that they don't happen anymore, right? And those systems are really, really good, really robust. So I mean, that's the obvious thing that people are going to get. But like what's maybe less obvious to people is, and it's really important people understand the partner thing, because this is real partnership. This is like very, very powerful. And nothing works for us unless it works for you. So actually that answers a lot of questions. That answers the question about, how good is your product going to be? Well, it's got to be good, or this thing isn't going to work out. Or it also answers the question is like I live in I live in the woods. Somebody said to me, I live in the woods. How's this going to work for me with the territory? But it also answers that question, because we've got to build the territory so they work for everybody. So it doesn't matter if you live in the woods. In fact, I used to live in the woods, but we're going to have to build you. We're going to have to build you a territory that's got enough potential customers to work for you, because if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for us. So for me, I think that's a key thing for people to try and understand. Just remember that we're partners, and we need your business to work in order for our business to work.
Yeah, that's great. Well said. Thanks, Roy. I really appreciate you taking the time. I think I've come across a lot of really smart folks and a lot of really good business people in my time of being an entrepreneur and in corporate. And I rank Rory, way, way, way up there. Somebody who I have for years wanted to work with formally, in a partnership of some kind. So, and Aiden and I would not have done this franchise model without having the right CEO. And it just would have been impossible for us. We just couldn't do it. And so that's why we're so thrilled to have Roy. And I'm really glad you guys had a chance to just, have a couple minutes with him. And even in those couple minutes, I'm sure that you are starting to understand why I feel that way about Roy. So thanks, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Rory.
Thanks very much. Okay. Talk to you guys. See you, Aiden.
All right. So just want to update everyone on where we are at. We're almost actually done here. We've been through the Holy Grail factors. I spoke about them. We've talked about the business comparisons. I've been through the brain barriers. Right now, I think we're going to give away some free stuff and $500 cash. So first, we'll give away we'll give you a couple of links to things that you can download, which I think are going to be useful for you. And then as soon as we've done that, Steve, maybe we can do another $500 cash giveaway. And then I think we'll probably be ready to wrap this up. We've been here 3 hours and 15 minutes now. So yeah, awesome. So right. So here is one giveaway. This is what we call the 3-step ASD system. It's a presentation they're actually presentation notes. It's not the presentation you've seen today. It's got some of the same information in it. I think it's like 84 pages of notes or something of just going through the parallel profit system, what it all is. And so we go over all of the different components, so you can come back and have a look at them. And we specifically drill down to this ASD system. It's the way that we convert leads into buyers. So you can go ahead and grab that It's parallelprofits.com/ASD. Maybe take a photo of the screen with your phone. Take a photo of the screen with your phone, or just write that down. I'm going to flick to the next screen here in about 10 seconds time. All you really need to remember is /ASD, and you'll be able to download that. And the other thing that we have for you here today, and Steve, after this, let's do the $500 cash giveaway, and then we'll do some Q&A, and then we can wrap up, I think. So 3-step ASD system, and the other thing is the recipe for riches. So I went over at a very, very high level this whole recipe for riches and the 13 ingredients of the millionaire mind. And these are the secrets that separate the world's wealthiest 1% and everyone else. And they're based on my own experiences. I know personally over 50 different multimillionaires. Along with Steve, I've built 6 different multi-million-dollar businesses that bring in millions of dollars in profit every single year. And we've tried to distill down all the characteristics of the millionaire mind. So this is mindset stuff. And you can see the link on the screen there for that one. So it's parallelprofits.com/recipe. And you can download those 2 PDFs as a little gift, and I hope you enjoy them. We've had a few more people that have jumped in just while Rory and Steve have been speaking, so I want to read out a few of their names. We had Robert, James, Derek, Thomas, Meyer, Douglas, Gregory, Cyrus, Helen, Jay, Marty, David, and Sana and Tendai. So guys, thank you so much. These are just people that have jumped in right while we've been talking here. So Steve, maybe on that note, we can give away $500 cash, and then if there's any other Q&A that anyone behind the scenes or you think we need to take right now, then we could do that. But let's do the cash giveaway first.
Sure. Okay, so let's do another question. So according to the presentation that we gave today, okay, here's the question. How much does it cost to buy a McDonald's franchise? Let's see if we get the right first answer here. All right, guys who are manning the chat, just tell me when we get the first person and who it is, please.
Oh boy.
Well, it should come in timestamp, so.
Oh, yeah.
All right, hold on.
I think that was too easy. Anyway.
I was trying to break it up a little bit. All right, okay. I'm sure we have a right answer, so everybody can stop typing now. But if we just bear with me 1 second, we'll find out who it is, or we can move on and come back. Hold on, let's see if we got somebody. Jason. Okay, so it's Jason, and we will follow up, Jason, with you with your. We've got your email address from the chat box, so should be all good.
Congratulations, Jason. Awesome. Fantastic. Cool. Okay. Steve, any final questions, or our team that are behind the scenes who can also hear this, if there's anything final that you think we should work through, any questions that people need answering, now is the time that we can do it. Otherwise, wrap up. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, if the team behind the scenes has any, just drop them into our private chat here so we can answer them. I'm looking through the ones that I've been seeing. And I think one of the ones that's come up is, will the outsourced services be more expensive than what I could do on my own? I think that's a concern for some people. And so in other words, what the services that I'm buying from the franchise company, are they going to be priced at such a point where, gosh, it just would make more sense for me to go outside and try to find my own people to do it. And the beauty of this model is that because of our experience, our teams, and our scale, not only are the services going to be cheaper than you could probably find them, but the quality will be much higher and much easier to maintain. So that's not something that you should worry about. That's absolutely for sure. Let's see. Tim is popping one in. Let's take a look here.
Tim's one was about additional costs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like business cards, stuff like that potentially.
Yeah. And other people were asking about like upsells and is there like a super duper version that we have to pay more for? Or, no, the investment that you see is the only investment you're going to make. You won't make any incremental investments for the better version or any of the tools or to get your franchise. What you see is what you get. So.
Yep. I think we've got bases pretty much covered here, guys. And if we haven't got to your question yet, you can still put it in that chat box. And the other thing that you can do is you can always send us a question to. I'm going to put this in here. I'll make this bigger for you in a second. Hang on. This is our support email address. Now, if you've got a burning question that we have not yet answered, this is where you can send it to. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Okay, it's support@parallelprofits. Oh, actually, that's not coming up there, is it? I don't think you can see that.
No, you can't see it. Yeah.
Okay, but all I was going to say, it's support@parallelprofits.com. So support@parallelprofits.com, and you can contact us there, or you can leave a question using the live chat option that you can hopefully see where you're watching this video, and we'll get back to you with any questions that you may have with the answers to those questions. The last thing I'd just say though is, look, don't delay on getting in. You know, I mentioned this before, but we could be talking for 10 hours and you're probably still going to have questions. If you've got a burning question and it's an important question to you, I would say just jump in right now. And once you're on the inside, you can also ask the question. And if for whatever reason you change your mind, you've got 60 days to get your money back. And it's not like you have to jump through any hoops to get your money back or anything like that. It's just, you don't even need a reason. In fact, that's actually the policy of ClickBank, you know, who processes the payments. You don't need any reason at all. You can just say, change my mind. You got 60 days to do that, and we'll happily give you your money back. And we're looking to work for people that want to be doing this, because we're genuine partners at this point. So, guys, thank you for being here. We've been here for 3 hours and 20 minutes, and I'm surprised haven't lost my voice yet. So that's a good sign. And we look forward to working with everyone who's jumped in. If you haven't jumped in yet, just write down as well the link that you can see on the screen, parallelprofits.com/start. That is the link that you can go to sign up, and you can finish your sign up. That's where you can go to verify that your territory is still available, and you can jump in. But don't delay, because not only are the territories being snapped up all the time, but also you know, we are shutting down for good. You know, any day now when we hit capacity. We've got the next training session happening in just a couple of days. The first was held a couple of days ago, so you can get in and go through that. And that's it from us, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out here with us today. Hope you have a great Sunday, and you're going to be able to go ahead and watch the Super Bowl now.
Super Bowl, woohoo!
All righty. All right, guys, we're going to shut this down now. But once again, thank you for listening, and we will look forward to talking to everyone sometime again soon. Bye for now.
Cheers.